quick back to the throttle, and we're racing again.
All righty, folks. Well, it looks like YouTube finally kicked in here tonight. All right, and it did. YouTube, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook here tonight as we go green flag, but Dennis Hansman, Zach York not wasting any time. They're going to go 1 and 2 here, pushing Joshua Witherspoon back into third. What happened to Joshua there, bud?
It looked like he come off of turn 2 there, and really, he didn't have the tires down and gripping like these guys behind him, with all of those tires on there, and he kind of just gave way a little bit to Ansman and let Ansman creep on by, and maybe settling in, just running his race here is what I'm seeing.
All right, we'll still take a look here. Joshua falling back as the 5 of Timothy Latham gets around. Christopher Kimmery now to the inside out of turn number 2 here, folks. On to the backstretch of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Greg Klein right there with him now to the inside. Here's the 97 right behind him. That's going to be Benjamin D. Not going to pronounce his last name because I don't want to butcher it, even though he has said it a bajillion times. We got a battle, though, back here. It looks like Jason Tripp falling back. Getting passed up by Richard Springer and Josh Buckman, our pole sitter here tonight. Josh trying to make his way back up toward the front. Get back here. Mark Wilson, he's a couple of laps down, but in that Geico 13, I know Gary Wells, he, out there, he's going to root for Geico. So I will put it out there, folks. But Mark Wilson there, he's looking for a couple of cautions here, Brandon, to get back there on that lead lap, as long as he's not involved in it.
Yeah, and that's for sure. He's one of those guys. We talked about these front guys settling in and running. But really, when you're in Mark Wilson's spot, you don't have a whole lot else you can do. You kind of just have to wait on the cautions to fall your way. Maybe play some early pit strategy, get slightly ahead of that leader, and tick one of those laps back off and be one lap closer. It's going to be a ride for Mark Wilson, but I believe as long as he can keep it straight and keep it clean, I believe we'll see him back up here racing on the lead lap soon.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I am going to go over here to Facebook, see who we have. Looks like we've got 9 watching here tonight. Technical difficulties here, folks, on Facebook, but glad to have everybody out there here this evening. Storm Wolf, Brennan Kennedy back out there in a chat. So glad to see both of you out there, tuning in. We've got 9 concurrent, 7 likes. I hate that it has happened here tonight on YouTube, but it is what it is. I have no control over it. But awesome racing still out here by these guys. They are now getting a little bit spread out here. Fixed setups, or open setups, I should say, not fixed. Open setups, they're a little bit different than fixed, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing is you really see the difference in car preference with these open sets. When you have a fixed set, everybody goes in and you can still drive the car the way that you want. It's still personal preference, but really when you get into these open sets and these long races like this, you get those drivers that want to be really loose early, tighten up as they go on, and some guys that just prefer it tight early on. And I think that's what we're starting to see a variation of now is some of these guys being tight and it really coming to them, and then some of those guys that have set their runs up early to be exactly how they want them.
Oh, yeah, I love a tight car. I'm just that way. Tight early, getting loose as the run goes on. Looking at a potential battle here between the 49 of Zach York and Timothy Latham. This is for second place. They are nose to tail here. Timothy putting that pressure on that number 49. Get back here to Christopher Kimmery. He's got a little bit of pressure coming up on him with Greg Klein and Benjamin D. So Greg Klein kind of in a pickle here between teammates of Flying Arrows, the 74 and the 97.
And I've actually been riding around with Greg here for a few laps, as you know, as we were talking along, and Greg's put together a good run here. He's kind of coming on strong a little bit here, and taking off some positions. If I'm not mistaken, on the restart, he was actually behind Benjamin, and he's ticked it off ahead of him. He slid that spot on him, and he's working to, on Christopher Kimry here. He's got up to that bumper a few times, and it's almost like he just gets a little slippery loose the closer he gets to that 74 car.
Oh yeah, for sure. But he right now he's in an okay position. I wouldn't say in a perfect position, but he's in an okay position. But spread out though, you get back here to Benjamin D. He's now going to go to the inside of Greg Klein. Back here to Dakota Jorgensen. He has nobody behind him, so he doesn't have anybody to worry about. Robert Montgomery the same way, doesn't have anybody to worry about. He's running his race. Oscar Jensen, same way. Mark Kuda has the 54 of Ted Poulin there behind him in that DuPont 54 machine. I'm a big, huge fan of Ted Poulin. I love the way Ted races. He races clean. He races clean throughout the track in the races as he makes the pass there to go into 10th. But, he early on, he keeps his nose clean. He, just races his race. Usually by the end of the race, Ted Poulin is trying to make his move up toward the front and to win the race, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, and he's one of those quiet drivers. He didn't make a lot of noise. You may not talk about him as much, and hear his name come up in conversations, but he's one of those guys that knows his stuff, and he's staying poised. And you get some of these guys out ahead of him that are making mistakes, and Ted's gonna pounce on those guys. Ted's gonna take those spots. And I'm gonna check back in up here, and just to talk about Ted. I've been around for quite some time watching the races, and just as Josh said, Ted is not one of those drivers that he's not gonna come up here and he's not gonna blow his stuff out early. He's just going to hold on to it, and we start getting stage 1, stage 2 ticked away, and move later into this race. And Ted's one of those guys that's still hanging around. Right now he's put together a solid run. He's got a little bit of space out back, and nothing to gain but time out front, and just trying to hold on, and not really use his stuff up, not getting any trouble early. Check back in up here and see what the race for the lead's looking like. It looks like it's cooled off, not missing anything there. A little bit of lap traffic in the way for Timothy Latham trying to pursue himself forward. And I do believe, check in with Dennis Ansman here, he's put some pressure now back on that number 49 car. Zach York will get you guys a shot of that here just momentarily, as he's really starting to get close to the back bumper of that 49 car.
Yeah, we're going to go up here with Zach York here, buddy. Yeah, Dennis Ansman back there in that number 16 machine here. Position, second place, started 7th, as he does, of course. Yeah, edge ever so closely back to Zach. Dennis was up front. He's led 26 laps here tonight. Zach York has led 13. Brandon, I've got to bring it up. It might not be a battle of, getting the win. They may have a battle of getting the most laps led here tonight.
Yeah, and that's for sure, because, just as we started talking about it there, Dennis Ansman, he brought that car right up to the back bumper of Zach York, and just like we seen a little while ago, it started to slip away from him. Zach got a run off the corner, and I think that's been, Dennis's run. He's knows he's faster than Zach, but once he closes that gap and gets that nose right up against the back of that 49 car, it gets tough for him to do anything. And I'm curious to see how the setup changes as we go through this run here, and really what he's able to do with that 49 car.
Oh yes, Lee Staples joining us here tonight on Facebook. Miguel Angel Franco joining us. Of course, if you're new here on Facebook, which I'm sure some of you are, this is iRacing. This is the iRacing Virtual Cup Series League here tonight. on MaxSpeedTV. Of course, we're live on MaxSpeedTV on YouTube as well. Myself, Joshua Medlock, and Brandon Browning up here in the booth calling the action. And, still, now spread out here. They're going to get bunched up, though, as they come to the end of the stage here at lap 75. One of three that they are running here. So, a little bit different race than we've seen in the past, as I mentioned before.
Yeah, and the biggest thing here, I don't think we've seen the tough side of the field quite yet. We do have a battle heating up here with Dennis Ansman and Timothy Latham. Timothy's poking that nose out, trying to take that second spot away. But as I was saying there, I do believe, you got some of these guys running middle of the pack, maybe back of the top 10, that are really kind of saving what they've got. They don't want to tip their hand and let some of these other guys up at the front know just what they have quite yet.
Well, Timothy Latham is going to make the pass on that 16 to go into second. They've been out here at about 25 laps. Oh, we got a little blinker going on up there. That's going to be the 55 of Jordan Sailors, 2 laps down here this evening. But, looking for a couple of quick cautions to get back on the lead lap. As long as he's not involved in it, the first driver a lap down is going to be Tim Hendry. The last driver on the lead lap is going to be Chad Winingsman. He is looking either for a caution or the stage to end without going a lap down, Brandon. So, the IVCS, the iRacing Virtual Cup Series, they run things a little bit different than the way you see most leagues as well. They do open setups and stages.
That is a huge, I had the opportunity to talk to Justin last night, and I have to be honest, just, I haven't been very deep in my career with the IVCS and the qualifier series. But if you're looking for a league that gives you the feel of being out there on the track like you're in one of NASCAR's top 3 series, with the rules that the IVCS has in place, this is the league for that. I mean, it feels, you don't see a real differential in the way that they have their rules and the way that, you watch it on TV.
Yeah. They run the NASCAR linked schedule. They run the pretty much the NASCAR rules. As a broadcaster here on MaxSpeedTV, of course, I do have several leagues that I do. As we see the 8 and the 9 there almost make a little bit of contact. That 8 there is going to be, I believe that is going to be Justin Boyles. But as I mentioned before, I do several leagues here. This is the only league of open setup that I do. And most of you, everybody out there, know what leagues I do. I do, not taken away from iRacing Virtual Cup, but I do Extreme Motorsports at 99.com Monday through Thursday. I've got iRacing Virtual Cup Series here on Fridays. And then on Sunday nights, I do Slide Job. So, I'm busy throughout the week. I see many different rules, many different league sets, and of course, like I said, the iRacing Virtual Cup Series is the only open setup league that I do. And I can see, as a broadcaster, I see the difference of open sets to fixed setup leagues.
Yeah, and the IVCS is the only, I'm in a few leagues myself, and I'm in them as a driver, and the IVCS, the iRacing Virtual Cup Series is definitely one in its own. When you start getting into these races here and you start seeing, just as we're seeing live here, you have a fluctuation of different strategies, of different car sets, and how the cars setups are handling over the course of these runs. And it's really crazy to think, the difference that you can have.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I'm looking here in chat. Looks like we got, my buddy Wayne Finley out there here in chat. Marco Evans out there. Wayne, man, what you do over here on MaxSpeedTV, buddy, glad to have you. Glad to see you out there in chat. I still got my image I want on MaxSpeedTV, my autograph from Bobby Allison. So I've got it right here beside me. Glad to see you out there in chat. Wayne, Marco Evans, Lee Staples, Miguel Angel Franco out there in chat for Facebook. We go over here to YouTube. It looks like everybody chatting it up here tonight. We only got 9 watching here. Let me do some refreshing here, see who we have here. This YouTube studio is really messing with me here. I got to refresh it, but looks like we got about 15 concurrent viewers, 15 likes here tonight. Glad to see everybody out there tuning in for sure. But yeah, we got a long way to go, Brandon. We're going to be coming up on the end of the stage here in about 18 laps. Or 13 laps, sorry.
just looking down the field here a little bit,
they're spread out.
What I'm seeing, they're starting to get really spread out, and you got these guys back here running on the tail end of the lead lap. We got Jeremy Boucher back there and Jason Tripp and Josh Buckman. Those guys are playing a little bit of a Russian roulette game right now. They're trying to keep their cars just ahead of that leader so they don't have to worry about the lucky dog. And you got on the other side, you got Chad and Tim Hendry who are hoping something happens here while they're still close in those positions and they can get their lap back. It's a variation of different, races playing out here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Chad and Tim looking to get a caution here before the stage. And Jason, Jeremy, Josh, like you said, they're not looking for a caution. They're wanting to stay on that lead lap here. As we edge ever so closer here to stage number 1 here tonight. 29 drivers started the race here tonight. Yeah, we've got a few that have unfortunately retired. Kendall LeVron, Jordan Brockell, who is in chat, Alex Carlink, Philip Loy, and Derek Schimmel. But 24 drivers still out here. 23 drivers. It looks like Jordan Sailors is on pit road. So 23 drivers still racing it out here. But Zach York, 3 seconds ahead of our second place, Timothy Latham.
Yeah, and Zach's he's kind of to a point now where he's the bad guy for these guys at the back. He's settled in. He's got a little bit of gap back to Timothy Latham in second, and he's just hanging on for the final few laps in this stage. And you could see the highs and the lows. Zach's up here. He's on a high. He's out front. He's riding his race. And you got, like we spoke about before, these guys down here that are hoping those tires start falling off of that 49 car and they can just hold on. And the best feeling these drivers are going to see since the start of this race is going to be that caution come for the end of stage.
Yes. 66 of 75 here, 66 of 300, coming now to 67 of 300 here. Now these drivers, still spread out here. We're going to go ahead and go on a gap to leader here tonight. You'll see it in the top right-hand corner of your screen. From first to the 17th driver, who is the last driver on the lead lap, Jeremy Boucher. 26 seconds roughly between these two drivers. Now updated, they're 27 seconds, but still they're playing this stage game. We got 3 stages and then a shootout to the finish, so they know between what tire sets they can get. They're only allowed 8 right, 8 left. They're playing that stage and tire game. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, and it's a big game, to play. And these drivers in the top 10 a little further back than, Timothy Latham. And actually, Timothy just looks like he lost the second spot to Christopher Kimry there. But you see some of these Flying Arrow guys, and their tires are really hanging on across this run. They're doing a good job of managing those tires, and they're going to be scary as we move on through this race with their ability to run long runs like this.
Oh, yeah. It's like, what adjustments do you have to do? Because an open setup, you can make any adjustments that you want throughout the race. You do not have to make, just the offset or the steering ratio or whatever, or brake bias. With an open set, you can make that adjustment, to fit your needs throughout the race. So, it's really going to come down to, I would say, the final 75 laps on who has that final best setup.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big one. And if you're riding back, even the rest of the Flying Arrow guys, watching their teammate just slowly edge away here, even they're thinking later in the race, what can we do to equalize ourselves with the way that 49 car runs these long runs? And that's just what we're seeing here. I believe they're a little off. Maybe early in the run got a little behind, but it looks like their cars are all stabilizing. But you got further back a little bit, we saw Greg Klein early in this run. He was running up there, man, and he was ready to tick some spots off. He's probably one of the guys right now that's just hanging on, and he's trying to decide, what can I do? Maybe gain a few spots and hang on. Try to equalize what he's seeing with these guys in front of him.
Watching them out of here between Timothy Latham and the 97 and Benjamin D there. Benjamin going to make the pass there on the 5, but that 5 did, of course, the crossover. So, we still got battles here. Now coming to lap 73 here. 2 more laps before we end stage 1 here tonight. It looks like we have got Tommy Haynes. Tommy Haynes, buddy. Glad to see you out there in chat. Looks like Wait TV out there here this evening. Admins, moderators in chat. Gonna have to take care of that here this evening. We do not... you do not need to put your stuff in the broadcast. Do not promote yourself. So, do not like that. If you're going to promote anybody, promote MaxSpeedTV, promote IVCS. This is what it is here tonight. But we are on the final lap here. Zach York on the loud pedal here up front. And it looks like Zach York will potentially here, folks, grab stage 1 here as he comes around turn number 4 here. The 55 on his outside, but it is not going to be for position. Zach York going to cross the line to win stage 1 here this evening.
I tell you, that 55 car definitely made it fun for Zach York those last few laps there.
All right, that is going to be stage 1, so let me get that down here real quick. All right, as we updated here on MaxSpeedTV, Zach York going to win stage 1 here this evening. Of course, we'll get Zach York up here for the MaxSpeedTV post-race, not post-race show, but for the interview for stage 1 here tonight. We'll see. I imagine they're going to pit here, Brandon. I don't think they're going to stay out.
No, I think you're losing just a little too much time. And obviously, if you saw the 55 car there and the way that he ran around with Zach York to 49, he had a little bit of damage to the car. He was a few laps down, but you saw just the difference that those new tires made. And I expect that the pit road's about to be a very busy place for us.
All right, well, we are going to be on Zach York here. We're going to see what he does. I imagine he will come down pit road for Mr. Feel Goods and a full fill-up of Sunoco racing fuel here tonight. Yes, he is going to be coming down. Everybody coming down behind him. They know that the tires are going to be key here tonight, folks. I know I forgot somebody, just remembered it. Rick's Hot Sauce here tonight. We got that commercial, so we'll go ahead and play it. So, but as they come down to pit road here, folks, we will see Jeremy Boucher is going to stay out, but he was a lap down. I do now have him as the leader. He will have to cross the stripe to, of course, lead a lap, go around. But Zach York is going to be our stage one winner. What do you say, Brandon? We get Zach York up here for an interview here this evening.
That sounds great to me, man. I'm curious to hear his side of it a little bit and see what he's feeling out here in this race car.
All right, Zach York flying arrows here tonight. Zach York, Joshua Medlock alongside Brandon Browning up here in the booth. Brandon, the interview is all yours, bud.
Righty, and Zach, been having a lot of fun up here in the booth, man, watching you wheel that 49 machine around here. Just kind of give us an insight, of what you're feeling late in those runs, and just knowing, you've got the stage end coming up.
It's just saving tires, really having the speed for the long run. We almost ran out of fuel there. It got very close, so I was taking a very easy clutching most of the last 2 laps there.
Well,
But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, we're very fast. I think we're the car that beat today. Just saving tires, creating the most downforce you can in the middle of those corners and off.
Yeah, and it looked there for a little while, almost like you'd settled into cruise control and were just doing your thing. Do you as a driver anticipate, the track to change very much as we continue through these stages, or you think it's pretty locked in?
It's going to change. It's already started to change since the beginning. We've been making small adjustments, but the handling on this number 49 Flying Arrows MCM4 Mustang is very good. I have nothing to complain about my car. It's very good.
Yeah, you definitely look like you've got a rocket ship there, and of course, congratulations, on bringing home the stage one win there, and looking forward to continue watching you as you wheel this thing around here, man. You've been a wheelman so far, and good luck to you. I definitely hope everything works out for you, and you can keep on ticking them away.
Thank you.
Good luck, Zach.
Thanks, Josh.
Bud. All right, we'll get him up there to his team here. Wayne Finley out there. Of course, congratulations, Zach York, for winning stage one here tonight. But I got asked a question here on what the track temp is here tonight. So we're going to pull that pre-race analytics here. Right now, the current track temp is about 69 degrees here tonight. So it's a lot cooler, Brandon, than we normally see.
Yeah, and especially down in just speaking in terms of actual track temperature, and seeing down at Charlotte, you expect this to not quite be as hot as Atlanta, but it's a hot, slick racetrack, and they put in a lot of green flag laps so far. So that, coupled with that temperature coming down a little bit and that rubber building up on the track, we're starting to see a lot of grip for these guys, and I think it's going to continue to build as we move further into the afternoon.
All right, Wayne Finley out there. There you go, buddy. Track temp 69 degrees here as we come to stage number 2 here this evening. And give a shout out to everybody out there. Caitlin O'Hara pulling on Ted Poulin out there here this evening. Man, this is a lot different than what I'm used to for sure, doing Facebook and YouTube. So, I appreciate the effort. Appreciate everybody out there tuning in on both sides, Facebook and on YouTube. But we are going to take that off, and we're going to be coming to stage 2 here tonight, folks. So we got this stage and the next stage, and then it's going to be a finish round out to the end. But we got flying arrows up here, 1, 2, and 3. As the pace car dives off, Zach York is going to be on the loud pedal. We are back underway here tonight for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series here this evening. The struggle beyond the decade 300 here at Charlotte.
I tell you had a couple of groups right here that it's really a feel-good moment. You had the Flying Arrow guys 1, 2, and 3. And then from their standpoint, you trust your teammates more than you trust any other driver.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
just behind them, you had Timothy Latham and his teammate Dakota Jorgensen. So these front 5 right here are in a feel-good moment. They got their fresh tires and their teammates around them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But as we go into turn number 1 here, the 16 there of Dennis Hansman going to the inside of that 24 here this evening. Going to make the pass, but we've got about a right behind on here, Greg Klein. You know, he was looking, but didn't have the steam there in that QT number 18 machine. You know, I think Greg Klein is going to be one of the drivers to watch. I know I get my drivers to watch from Justin Boyles. Sorry to put you under the bus there, Justin. But, you know, Greg Klein, you know, he's been strong. You know, he's racing his race. He falls back, comes forward, falls back, comes forward. You know, he's racing the track. He's not racing the drivers. You know, he's making adjustments as it's needed. You know, I would put my money on Greg Klein here tonight. And I know we didn't make our picks, but Brandon, I'm going to make my pick here tonight. Greg Klein going to win it here this evening.
I tell you what, Josh, that's definitely a solid pick, and I've rode around with him, you know, quite a bit. He's one of those guys, like you said, he's not really worried about these guys around him. He's more so learning and feeling out this track, and he's in a prime poised position right now that, you know, we get a caution late, maybe he takes some strategies, a quick pit stop, or if we see a long green flag run, we could see Greg Klein kind of differentiate his strategy and really take off and make some noise at the end of this one.
Yeah, for sure. You know, he's got company here around him. He's got the 77 there of Mark Kuda. But not going to be able to make the pass there. The 74 there of Christopher Camry, though. Going to go to the inside of the 24 of Dakota Jorgensen. Not going to be able to complete the pass. Dakota going to take that position there across the stripe. You know, open setups, you know, I don't know open setups really well because I'm not an open setup guy, but I would say anywhere between, you know, 12 to 17 laps would be the key for these tires, depending on your setup.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. That's what we've seen a lot of experience in running with these setups here, and you know, early on, like we had mentioned before, you got those 4 feel-goods. You're Superman. You're 10 feet tall early in these runs. And right around anywhere from 17, and then, you know, you got some of these longer run setups at 25, you've still got feel-good in those tires. But beyond those points, you know, it becomes a slippery slope of how well you hold on to what you've got. And I tell you, you know, you mentioned Greg Klein as your driver. I'm telling you, I believe I'm going to stick mine with the number 16 machine of Dennis Hansman. Early in these runs, he's making some noise here. He's right on the back bumper of that 49, and he wants to go out here and lead him a few.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We go up here to Greg Klein. He's falling back. He's currently running in 8th, but, you know, I've talked about him. You talk about him. You know, if he can make the passes cleanly.
Got a 3-way battle for the lead.
Oh, buddy, are we going to go 3 wide up here up front? No, not 3 wide yet.
Starting to settle in, but now there's the 4th driver.
Oh, Timothy Latham there. Going to make a crossover. Here comes the 49 of Zach York back to the inside. Dennis Hansman going to lead that lap, but about for a second here between Timothy Latham and Zach York. Zach going to complete the pass here out of turn number 2. Looks like Timothy not going to fight him too hard there, but we go into turn 3. A little bit of gap now there between the 49 and the 5. I don't think that battle's over with.
No, this one's still heating up, and even to come back a little to that 24 car, he's right there. He's just waiting on a slip between any of these cars ahead of him, and he's going to pounce and maybe take a position. We could see him spread out a little bit, and actually it looks like Zach York's got a huge run down the backstretch. He's starting to close back in on Dennis Hansman.
Now we'll take a look on Zach York here. Yep, he is back up into second. Started second right where he started. 22 watching, 17 likes here tonight. Can we hit that 22 mark here with all of our viewers here this evening? Glad to have every single one of you out there in chat. from Facebook to YouTube. Glad to have you out there, and they're still single file here. I wouldn't say bumper to bumper, but they're pretty close, anywhere between 0.2 of a second to at about 0.5 of a second.
Just looking back through the field a little bit, it looks like everybody's kind of starting to settle into their groove again and single file out. We got a couple of guys, back toward the back of the field that are pretty close to having a battle. You got Richard Springer and Josh Buckman, who are pretty close. They're within a couple car lengths. But overall, it looks like guys are starting to settle down a little bit.
All right, Robert Montgomery, back there in the 52. He's not really by himself, but, kind of by himself. He's got Ted Pula behind him and Josh Buckman ahead of him. But talking about Richard Springer and Josh Buckman here, it looks like Josh Buckman has kind of just fallen back here. These guys are going to run single file. Let's go cockpit here. We'll wait till he crosses the stripe. But let's go with Josh Buckman on cockpit here to give the viewers kind of a lap around Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, these drivers have been out here at about 17 laps, so they are, they're running down the tires, but they're not, it's not as bad as Atlanta or Las Vegas. So, let's give these drivers, or these fans, I should say, a lap or two with Josh Buckman.
Yeah, and that's the big thing here is like you mentioned before, we've come into a period of time now where the new's starting to wear off these tires, and you're feeling more of the race car here.
Our cockpit here with Josh Buckman. We see a couple of battles there right up ahead of him, and Josh sees that as well. But we're going to cross the stripe here and go back up to the live view. Of course, we'll get back up here to the battle. That might have been between that 77 of Mark Kuda, the 11 of Joshua Witherspoon, as well as, we can't forget him, the 21 of Richard Springer, who is now to the inside of the 77 there of Mark Kuda into 3.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on a driver, that you had mentioned a moment ago, Robert Montgomery. He's actually one of those drivers right now that Josh is qualified. Josh and Jeremy and those guys are qualified to run both series and kind of get a feel. They're a little bit outside of the points right now, and they're able to run both series, if they're not going to make the cut for the playoffs. And Robert Montgomery actually ran with us last night, and he's got a lot of data that he learned from those 150 laps. And it's curious, just outside of the top 10, I'm curious to see how he really capitalizes on that and moves forward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, glad to see everybody out there racing here tonight. Glad to see everybody out there in Facebook as well as YouTube. A big shout out to everybody out there here this evening. But stage 2 won't come to an end until lap 150 here. Dennis Ansman, though, 37 laps, going to lead there at the line. He's got pressure there with the 49 of Zach York.
He's kind of, Zach's starting to get back in his comfort zone here. We talked to Zach at the end of stage 1, and we're really coming back up on his comfort zone from here on, moving forward in the fuel run, where he knows that he's got a good handling race car, and I expect him to be really patient here with the 16 of Dennis Ansman and kind of just hang on. Might push the issue just a little bit to let Dennis know that he wants that spot back, but I tell you, that car's looking fast so far.
Well, Zach York has already won stage 1, and the pressure between him and the 16. Zach York now to the inside of the 16. Down into turn 3 here, folks. A battle for the lead. Zach York going to push up there, or Dennis going to push up there. Zach York there now, side by side. Zach York going to lead it there at the line. Dennis not quite in second. Now he is, as Dennis kind of pushes back there behind Zach York, but they can't make it. Oh! A little bit of crossover, a little bit of blocking going on here down into 3. Oh, we got a battle here for that first position here, Brandon. Oh, caution!
Yeah, just I was about to touch there. I believe that one might have been off the backstretch back there. I'm not sure the car just yet.
All right, well, I think it might have been around Dennis Nickel here, the other Dennis. We'll go take a look here. Now, iRacing throws the cautions, but we're going to be back here on that 00 of Dennis Nickel here this evening. We'll see what happened to Dennis. It looks like he's okay into the corner. Oh, the 8! Oh, no! The 8 of... That is going to be Justin Boyles. Was there contact between these two drivers? We're going to chase view here. We're going to turn the camera for everybody. But as we come out of the corner, oh, the 8 getting below the blue line there. It looks like he is going to lose it. It looks like also the 00 is going to lose it. Might even be a little bit of hammy action, a little bit of net coating out there on the track. That is definitely going to cause this caution. Let's get here on the 8 of Justin Boyles. That's not
it
good.
It looked almost like he was in a fine line there that it was looking more like you said, like net code versus I know the 00 Dennis Nickel really closed that gap and kind of pushed that air, but I believe that one, like you said, was more of a net code issue. He just kind of kicked it just a little loose, and then from there Justin was just along for the ride.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and play a quick commercial break, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm with Jacob Bell today. Can you guys tell me how you pulled off such an impressive win?
Yeah, the boys had something special at the shop that made this thing hooked up. It was super fast.
What did they put that was so special?
They actually put some of this Rick's hot sauce in it and made the car really, really fast.
What was it that made it so special?
Oh, that's a secret. Only one person in the world knows, so it's pretty secretive.
Who knows?
I know it.
Alrighty, folks, a little bit of a commercial there. Rick's Hot Sauce. Now, they are the sponsor for the green flag and all green flags thereafter. That is the one that I forgot. I do apologize. Sorry, Jacob Bell out there and Rick's Hot Sauce. I do apologize on that. But we see everybody, it looks like, did come down pit road for this time by. So, you know, that is another stop for tires and fuel. You know, they got to watch the tires because they only get 8 sets.
Yeah, and I think, so far, so far so good. We've had some green flag stretches. It looks like they're looking a little okay. We've ticked off a third of this race here, and, settling in and still have some tires left to go. Like we talked early, that stretch, the final stretch, you're going to probably most likely have at least one pit stop in there, especially if it stays green. So you're going to want to keep a tire set in there to really get up and get after it.
Yeah, I think tires are going to be key here tonight. Taking a look at YouTube and Facebook here tonight. It looks like we've got 22 out there still watching on YouTube. I don't know who we have watching out there live on Facebook, but I do appreciate the support from everybody out there tuning in here tonight on, of course, my personal Facebook here tonight. This is MaxSpeedTV, of course, but Zach York, he has chosen the outside line, Brandon, this time by. That's going to put Dennis Ansman on the inside, coming to lap 107 this time by. Get him going, bud.
Alrighty, we're going to see a little bit of a different strategy here, like you mentioned, from Zach York. I think he wants to try that outside line and maybe expecting from a push from his teammate back there and Christopher Kimry, maybe to get him going. Of course, we see some of these guys up here that have played some strategy. The 11's made his way back up here again and looking to settle in and kind of get things going here. I'm curious to see myself how this works out for Zach York and how he's able to drive down into turn 1. We're approaching turn 4 here. Ready to get right through the gears, just as a driver, just settling in, knowing that the restart's coming, the restart zone, waiting on that pace car to take that left-hand turn. And it's coming up quick. Now it's in the control of the leader. And it looks like he's hard on the throttle back, ready to go green flag racing. A great start by that 49 car. Teammate, actually, Christopher Kimry there, thought he was going to try to run that outside line, really give him a show to Dennis Ansman. But beautiful start by all of those guys at the front, just settling back in.
Looking at Zach York, Dennis Ansman, Christopher Kimry, Joshua Witherspoon, and Benjamin D. Gonna round out the top 5 here on the restart. Zach York, though, our winner for this, stage 1, he's looking to capitalize on stage 2, but Dennis Ansman gonna take that spot away from Zach York.
Dennis definitely ain't making it easy for Zach. He's keeping that pressure on here early in these runs, and maybe that's teaching Zach a thing or two early in these runs, and how he's really got to point that car.
Well, 6 drivers have taken their cars behind the wall. Mark Wilson, Derek Schibel, Philip Loy, Alex Carl Link, Jordan Brockell, and Kendall LeVron. We still have 23 drivers out here on the race surface here this evening. Right now, the battle between Dennis Ansman and Zach York getting a little separated. Let's go back here at around Benjamin D. 21 of Richard Springer gonna get around him. So we got some battles here on the fresh tires here tonight, Brandon.
Yeah, and one driver that I was looking at, I saw some fans out in the chat of Ted Pullen. Man, he's really hanging in there at 11. He's getting a little racy here in these middle stages. And looks like he just lost a spot there to, oh, wow. Dakota Jorgensen going to go down through the grass there. Got a little loose off of 4. Ted's going to take that spot back. But Ted's putting together himself a good little run here.
Yep, Dana Marie Chambers out there in chat pulling on that 54 of Ted Pullen here tonight. Currently running back here at 11, started 12, so kind of running where he, started as the 24 Dakota Jorgensen going to get around. I don't think Ted is going to fight him off too much. He knows it's a long, grueling race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So
I'm actually going to get a view here, that right front if I can. I believe he started around the 7th, 8th position, and I'm not sure. He might have made a little contact with the wall there on that restart, Josh.
Oh, which driver?
Ted Pullen.
He started 12th, but
okay.
Right front here, looks like he might have a little bit of that right front damage for sure. That could be affecting that right side. We see the damage there. They don't get a reset, so we do see that here.
And luckily for him, I believe that'll be a few extra seconds that he'll see there, but nothing too bad. I don't think he hurt the car too much. Of course, on this run here, it might affect him a little bit, but I believe that'll be an easy fix for Ted.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think he's going to be A-OK on that. We see right up ahead of him, Bob Carroll going to make the pass on the 23 of our pole sitter here tonight, Josh Buckman. So Bob going to go into 12th. starting 29th, Brandon. You know, he's working his way up. I'm my old
Yeah.
buddy Bob.
He's come up about 15 spots since the green flag. Him and both Dakota Jorgensen there that he's running around. They've made some way in this race, and Bob's starting to show his feel for this race car. We do have a battle for the lead back up front. See Zach York pokes that nose out here. He's closed back in on Dennis Ansman.
All right, Randy Cruder out there in the Facebook chat. Glad to have you, Randy. We are also live on YouTube here. Finally, after they did their fix or whatever they did, blame Google. I'm not afraid to say it. But we come out of 2. Zach York now going to try to the inside of Dennis Ansman here for the lead. Boy, Dennis, I don't know what Dennis is doing, but he's keeping that 49 in check.
Yeah, it looks like he's right in that line that Zach feels comfortable in, and you know, neither driver's making it easy. You know, Dennis isn't making it easy on Zach. Zach's not making it easy on Dennis. They're throwing down here in the middle of this stage too.
All right, well, lap 117 here tonight of 300. I do want to mention we are under a severe thunderstorm warning here for my area. So if my electric goes out or whatever the case may be, that is the reason. That's part of Arkansas weather.
Yeah. You never know. It's a lot like, you know, I'm up here further up the East Coast or opposite side of the country, and you really never know what you're going to get sometimes with weather.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm curious to see how this battle between Zach and Dennis, how it's going to bring that third place car to see if maybe Christopher Kimry can get a run and get up here and get a piece of this battle.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I'm taking a look here on my phone. You know, I'm a weather nerd and I'm a broadcaster. So, you know, safety first for my family, broadcasting here for, you know, iRacing and the leagues that I do. But looks like I'm seeing a tornado warning there in that eastern part of Oklahoma, just southwest of where I live. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. But yeah, battle for the lead here. looks like really that's pretty much what's going on. Battle for the lead.
Yeah, and you know, Zach's finding his. I believe he's going to take this spot here from Dennis after riding around. He really gets those runs down to the entry to the center of the corner, and you know, Dennis on the outside still not giving up. That's a hard spot to be in. You know, battling for the lead or battling for any position, but he's not giving it.
Now to the inside of Dennis Ansman for the lead out of 2. Dennis he is not giving him any. I wouldn't say any room, but he's going to make him work for it here.
Yeah, and he's keeping it as a very respectable battle as well. You know, he had the rear end clear there, and I'd say his spotter probably called it out, but he gave Zach that room in case Zach pulled up another run.
Yes, he did. Well, Dennis Ansman's still going to take the lead here, folks. I'm looking here. Tornado warning was just issued south of my area from where I live. Still under a severe thunderstorm warning. Going to take a look here. If I have to leave, well, it's going to be on Brandon here tonight. Sorry, Brandon.
Oh, no, that's totally fine, Josh. You're just going to make sure you're safe and keep your family safe there. I could take over and ride this one out a little bit.
Yep, well, we'll take a look at it here. Christopher Kimry in 3rd, Greg Klein 4th, and speak highly of Greg Klein here. He's currently running in 4th. Richard Springer now in 5th after starting 21st. Oscar Jensen started 13th, currently running in 6th. Dakota Jorgensen in 18th, started 18th, running 7th. Benjamin D started 6th, running 8th. Robert Montgomery started 14th, running in 9th. Bob Carroll going to round out the top 10 here tonight. Started 29th here this evening. Boy, Bob Carroll, man. Bob having a good run here this evening.
Him and Chad there. Chad looks like he started 28th. He looks like he might have come up through the field with Bob, man. They've kind of kept themselves together, and they're running their race together and making their way to the front.
Watching Bob Carroll here. It looks like Dennis Vickel on pit road. Oh, we got a caution. That's going to be Chad Winingsman there in that Alpha Metal number 9 machine. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Chad Winingsman here tonight, folks. Oh.
Hopefully I didn't curse him.
Oh, man. Well, let's see here. He's going to get around the 8 of Justin Boyles. He's going to be coming up on the 69. That is going to be Bob Carroll. Oh, it looks like might have been a malfunction there. He goes hard to the right and then down hard. Down, not hard into the wall. He kept it off that inside wall, but he comes back up on the track. Looks like he tries to save it. He's A-okay, but then contact with Justin Boyles and the 9, both of them hard into that outside wall. So that is where that caution is going to fly here again this evening. I think these drivers may come down pit road.
I believe we're right in that window. Still, not a whole lot of racing left. It will be interesting to see.
A little bit of a fake out there, Brandon. Dennis was looking to come down pit road, didn't come, and Zach York not going to follow him. It looks like everybody from the top 6 did not come down. Oscar Jensen now down pit road. This is where it's going to start.
Yeah, this is where we're going to see a little bit of differentiating strategies. And, those guys, they got a 6-car or, 3, 4, 5-car buffer in the top 3 here. And you're really going to see how those tires are going to be different on this run. You got those guys with the new tires back there. And interested to see who will be leading that train up and what they can do here over the course. It looks like we're going to have just a small shootout to the end of stage 2 here.
Yep. The end of stage 2 is going to be lap 150 here this evening. 225 is going to be stage 3, but we're nowhere near that. Let's see here if we can get another interview here real quick. How about we go with, let's go with, it is so hard to pick. How about we go with Richard Springer if we can find him.
Yeah, he's definitely, putting together a solid little run here. Looks like he's sitting 4th right now. Curious to see if he's how much fun he's having out there tonight.
All right. Well, let's see here if I can find Richard Springer. Oh, he's up there in race room, and I don't have permission to drag him down here. All right, we're going to have to take a look into that. But, yeah, Richard Springer, he is having a heck of a race here. Started 21st, currently running in 4th here this evening. It looks like they did not get the one to go this time by. So let's go ahead and see here if we can get another interview here. How about we go with Ted Poulin real quick. I know he is in here, so let's go ahead and see if we can drag him down here. Ted Poulin, buddy, got a copy? Ted Poulin, got a copy? All right, it looks like Ted Poulin does not want to talk. We'll go ahead and give him that. The benefit of the doubt, Still, we got a long way to go. Dennis Haynes has been our current leader. Zach York in 2nd. Brandon, I don't know what's going to happen here coming to the end of the stage, bud.
I tell you what, though, I like the call of these front few drivers. When we get late in this race, like you had touched on before, there's still over half of this race remaining. And this is another set for those guys like Ansman and York and Kimry and those guys in the top 5 or 6 that stayed out. They're going to have an extra set up on some of these guys that we're going to see coming through the field here.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, we are going to be getting the one to go here this evening, folks. Brandon, you go ahead and get him going here, bud.
All right, let's see where we're at here. Looks like we're headed down. Is this turn 1 or are we headed into turn 3?
It looks like turn 1 and 2 here, so you're not live.
Okay. Oh, check and see here.
All right.
Yeah, there we go. I was just looking down through the field there. Is it looking like maybe Jeremy Boucher going to lead these cars off of pit road with fresh tires? Not sure if Robert Montgomery and Bob Carroll came down as well. Gonna see how they can come through the field here. You got a lot of these drivers that have been strong, and probably gonna tick off a few spots here and get some early easy passes on maybe these cars that spin their tires. Your guy Greg Klein there, he's starting solid in 5th place here to see what he does to close us out as we get the pace car coming down into turn 3. Dennis Ansman, Zach York, probably going to go back to battle again here early and see if we get some of these 3rd, 4th, 5th place drivers up there to sneak in and steal a couple. Waiting on the pace car to make that elusive left turn and pull off. And it's up to the leader's discretion now. We'll see him enter into the restart zone. And Dennis Ansman going to be quick back to the throttle and take us back green flag racing with just a little bit left in stage 2.
All right, we are back underway here tonight, coming to the end of stage number 2 here this evening. Here in about 20 laps, folks. Dennis Ansman up front. Here's Zach York in second. Zach York has already capitalized on stage 1, but single file. Christopher Kimmery, Richard Springer, Greg Klein going to round out the top 5, Brandon. I think maybe coming to more closer to the end of stage 2, we're going to see more battles here, for position, because the more positions you can get, the more points you can get for that championship.
Yeah, and especially those drivers back there, like we talked about with those fresh tires, they should be able to pick off some of these. Of course, we see about a 4-car breakaway here at the front, but some of those guys further back in the top 10, you got Bob Carroll, Robert Montgomery, those guys just going to try to steal some stage points here with those fresh tires. And just speaking of Robert Montgomery and Bob Carroll, right back around there, we've got a pretty good battle going on.
Take a look here. Joshua Witherspoon, Tim Hendry, Timothy Latham, all back here together. We got a battle here between Tim Hendry and Joshua going to make the pass on the outside, dives it down to the inside on the trioval here at Charlotte. Now down to the inside of the 77 of Mark Kuda. Looks like going to make the pass there, but right behind him we've got a battle Tim Hendry and Mark Kuda. Here we go, folks. I think these guys are not wasting any time coming in to the end of stage number 2. Oh, somebody into the wall.
I believe that's going to be Bob Carroll up high there, getting close to the outside wall.
Oh, Bob Carroll. Oh. Not what you want to see here for sure.
Not sure if it was a checkup from the drivers behind him or just his ability to drive it off that corner, but he really did a good job of keeping it out in front of those 5 cars behind him.
Yes, he did. It looks like we have William Martin out there at the Facebook here tuning in here tonight. William, glad to have you out there, buddy. We are still racing here for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. We are at about 15 laps away from the end of stage 2 here. Halfway mark correctly.
You got a battle for both the lead right now, and Josh Witherspoon just made an easy pass for 3rd place. He's coming up here to battle with Zach York and Dennis Ansman. That 11 car is flying.
Got 11 car coming from the mid-pack. He is coming up through the field. We're going to watch Zach York and Dennis Ansman here.
And that run he's going to have.
Zach now to the inside, but look at that number 11 of Witherspoon. He is right there with them.
He's going to have another huge run down this front stretch. It'll be interesting to see. He might take them 3 wide here once we get closer down to the end of this stage.
Oh, Dennis Ansman there, going to shoot it down to in front of the 49. He's not going to let that 49. Look at that 11. Joshua Witherspoon to the outside. 2 passes for the lead here tonight. Wow.
I think some of these guys up here at the front just learned something and I'm hoping all of these cars at that 11 just rocketed by have learned. You know, those 4 tires proved to be a lot for that 11 car.
Yeah, Joshua Witherspoon has only been out here 11 laps. Everybody out here at about 34. Joshua Witherspoon rocking and rolling out here up front. At about 8/10 of a second, he is making moves, and he is not looking back, but we got a battle back here for a second still. Dennis Ansman, Zach York here, folks. I'm not worried about Joshua Witherspoon right now. 1.3 seconds ahead of our second and third place here this evening.
And I tell you, this 49 of Zach York and the 16 of Dennis Ansman, they've been almost like thunder and lightning. When you see one, you see the other tonight.
Oh, yeah, for sure. These guys have been out here, but side by side and bumper to bumper throughout the race here this evening. So, but you know, Joshua Witherspoon, different strategy from everybody else. You know, what's it going to take here coming, you know, to the end of stage number 2, but of course to end of stage 3 as well as the end of the race. You know, we've still got plenty of laps ahead of us.
We do, and that's interesting to see, you know, like we had talked on that caution there. It was interesting to see what drivers come down and took tires. And I'm guessing, you know, in that 11 racing camp over there for Joshua Witherspoon, it looks like they decided that those stage points he wanted, and he wanted to sacrifice a set of tires in order to get those stage points. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this could still have him equal with the rest of the guys in the field, because I believe there was that caution that we had early in the race that he didn't take a set. Maybe he saved that set for this race here, or maybe took 2 tires at that point. But I remember him starting up front and maybe saved a little bit for these guys.
All right, yeah, you know, saving, doing its thing here tonight. Brian Workman out there in chat. Brian, we've been friends a long time, buddy. Glad to have you out there. Watching a few battles here tonight. It looks like Greg Klein going to fall back there. Jamie Boucher going to get around. Robert Montgomery there now on his tail. You know, the tires starting to fall off. Lap 142 of 150. 142 of 300 here. We're going to be coming to the end of stage 2 here in about 7 laps. But Joshua Witherspoon, man, he after making the pass, Brandon, he has not looked back. Now 3.8 seconds ahead of our second place.
Right now on those fresh tires, Josh just has that car out in his own zip code. And, you know, like I said before, I'm hoping these guys, we're going to have a really tight battle there off the 4 between Zach York and Ansman.
Yeah, see, Dennis Ansman out of the inside, Zach York. Oh, boy, he is putting that bumper to that 16, down into 2. Whoa! Could have been a bump and run there by Zach York. He is going to make the pass there on Dennis Ansman now. Oh, man, Zach, 2 seconds. There's not enough laps here for Zach York, though, to catch up to Joshua Witherspoon. We got back here to Christopher Kimbrey, going to get passed up there by Josh Buckman. This is the tire fall off here, as we are seeing, but a difference, especially a difference between first and second and on back. I mean, good Lord. Anywhere between 41 laps, anywhere between 39 41 laps, second on back to 18 laps from Joshua Witherspoon.
Yeah, and you can see, you know, just as you were saying here again, Joshua Buckman is just coming in this 23 car again. He's all over the 16 and the 49 right now with a little bit of nowhere to go. And just as you said, those tires of those front runners that stayed out are starting to slip a little bit. And they've still made good racing, you know, between the 49 and the 16. But the 23 here looks like he's going to get a little bit of a push from Ansman going down into the corner.
Yep, down into 3. Josh Buckman, our post center, back 2nd here tonight. That's going to put Zach York back into 3rd. Dennis Hanseman in 4th. Get back here to Tim Hendry. He is going to get passed up there by the 24 of Dakota Jorgensen, under fire there by the 91 of Jason Tripp. But that is not for position, as Jason Tripp is now 11 laps down. But 3 laps, coming to 2 laps this time by for the end of stage 2 here tonight, Brandon. Joshua just accelerated, saved his stuff, pitted when everybody else didn't. And right now, if a caution was to fly, Joshua Witherspoon would be our stage winner.
Yeah, and I think unless he gets into someone or he makes a little bit of a mistake here, I believe he's going to come away, with realistically what would be stealing this stage win from some of those guys that ran the rest of the way.
I don't see how he did it. Lap 149 here tonight of 150 of the stage. They have to complete lap 150, coming to 151 before the end of the stage, of course, here, folks. But Joshua Witherspoon, 5.3 seconds ahead of Josh Buckman now. He is now 0.7 of a second ahead of Zach York. So the way they're spread out here, I think if everything was to, well, as I say that, we see the 52 there of Robert Montgomery go to the inside of the 21 of Richard Springer. And that is for that 8th position. Here comes the 18 of Greg Klein down to the inside of the 21. So tires going to play a big factor here. But coming out of turn number 4 here, folks, Joshua Witherspoon gonna dominate, come from mid-pack to win stage number 2 here this evening, folks. Man, what a run for that number 11 machine.
That was certainly an impressive run from him, and just as you had said, I'm curious to know, at some point if this was really a throwaway set of tires almost, just as him a way to get those stage points, looking forward to points racing a little bit versus running mid-pack and just hanging out.
Well, Joshua Witherspoon is already locked into the chase. He does have a win, and he's been here every race, as long as he races 16 of the 20-plus races. I think it's 26 races or 36 races. Well, it's the regular season. So as long as he races half of that, he's going to be in the chase. So making that move, he's got nothing to lose. But, yeah, I'm with you, Brandon. I've got to see what Joshua was doing there here in stage 2 for sure. We'll get him up here, of course, after they make their pit stop. He is up there in general. So, sorry, folks. Doing my cough here. It looks like Ken Ladd joining us there in Facebook. It looks like Michelle out there in the chat. Jake out there in chat. Yeah, Jake. Yeah, storms do stink for sure. I hate storms. As we come down pit road here, Joshua Witherspoon, our stage 2 winner, gonna grab that stage 2 win here. We'll get him up here in the booth after he makes his pit stop. But Brandon, that was an excellent run there by Witherspoon.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I believe it was a little bit strategic too. I'm not sure, if he had thought about that situation prior, or if it was one of those where he just come down and decided to take the tires. Because as you see here, it worked out not only as a way to win that stage, but moving forward, he's also going to get a start up front again on this, front couple rows, if not the front row, moving forward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, it looks like Josh Buckman might have won that race off of pit road. We'll get the official word, but let's get Joshua Witherspoon down here for the MaxSpeedTV interview here for stage 2 winner. Joshua, we've got to know how you did it there, man. Awesome run, stage 2, bud, but, tires, big key for sure in this long race. Talk about
it. Well, I've been playing a lot of strategy and getting blown away there by not taking tires. So I got a couple sets saved up while everybody else was pitting, and why not use
Why not
it?
use them? You got that right for sure. Well, coming to stage 3 here momentarily, you got a couple of sets saved, like you said, coming down to the end of the race. Do you think those sets may play into a factor?
I hope so. Now, the only thing I don't want is to have a set sitting there and not end up using them at the end of the race.
Well,
But
yeah.
I'm sitting there with 10 to go and everybody's on old tires and I get to put new ones on. It's going to be very nice.
Yeah, you got that right. Well, Joshua, man, awesome job winning stage 2 here tonight, buddy. But stage 3, we are at the halfway mark here of the race. Long race here tonight for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. We know you got a fast car. Do you have the fast car to win it here tonight?
Oh yeah, I believe so. Especially if we can get some good long runs in. We've been getting some pretty good runs, and so I can't complain at all. It's been pretty.
All righty, buddy. Well, let's get back to it, man. Good luck. Congratulations on stage 2 here tonight.
I appreciate it.
Uh-huh. Well, just a little bit of insight here, Brandon. I know you don't know this, but I've known Joshua since I've joined iRacing, so I know how he races.
I tell you, it's going to be scary moving forward, especially for that number 11 machine. These guys now know, maybe they have to equalize a little bit. Maybe they have to save a set so they can keep Josh from doing that late in the race, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yes, it is. Well, it looks like Josh Buckman going to be out front here after everybody making their round of their round of pit stops here. Under caution for stage 2, coming to stage 3 here. The next time by here, folks, over the halfway mark. I know we usually do this on the halfway mark, but we got another stage coming up. I think Crank It Up Cam is in store here. Not only give myself a break, but Brandon a break and everybody out there to just crank it up here tonight. We'll give them a couple laps here, but I'm going to let Brandon go ahead and get him going here. Coming to lap 156, stage 3 underway here tonight.
And this is where the drivers are really starting to feel almost the length of this race. In comparison, at this point in our race last night, we were done. We were finishing up. Everybody was celebrating or mourning, I guess you would say, their tough finishes. And these guys are just halfway done. So they're really starting to settle in here. And Josh Buckman had a heck of a pit stop there. He's got himself up on the front row, and he's about to take us green flag racing again here just as soon as this pace car pulls off. We just watched, you see those flying arrow guys been linked together pretty much all night. Back in that second row there, Dennis Ansman fell back a little bit. Might have made an adjustment to that car. Pace car is going to pull off here, and it's in the control of Josh Buckman. Ready to take us back, and you see Zach York there ready to go. Following him across the line, led by Josh Buckman first. Joshua Witherspoon second. Zach York third. Christopher Kimry fourth. And it's a battle back there for fifth. It's a toss-up at this point.
Yes, it is, folks. Well, we are at that halfway mark. I'm not going to give it a couple laps here, folks. I'm going to go ahead and crank it up here tonight, this evening at Charlotte, folks. So, crank it up here. The struggle beyond the decade 300 for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series here tonight. Cockpit crank it up at that. righty, folks. A little bit of cockpit. Crank it up there on board with Mark Kuda. Yeah, I don't have a crank it up cam here for Charlotte, but, still, we got racing here tonight over the halfway mark here for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series, round 14 here. Season 1, Struggle Beyond the Decade 300. But Dennis Ainsman back out front here tonight. Zach York in second, Joshua Witherspoon. I think we got to watch Joshua Witherspoon, Brandon. I think we do.
Yeah, he's going to have an interesting stage here, and I think, he mentioned during that interview with him, he's wanting a long run, and he's up there in that spot now, still hanging on to the top 3 spot. And as we get later in these runs, typically what we saw early in the race was that 16 of Ansman starting to fade a little bit, and Zach York was kind of on his own rocket ship. But now we got Josh Witherspoon that's up there too, and it'll be interesting to see.
Yep, we got a pass there. Zach York to the lead. Dennis Ainsman going to fall back to second. Now battling with the 11 of Joshua Witherspoon. Oscar Jensen up here. Now in 4th, started 13th. Our pole sitter Josh Buckman going to round out the top 5. We're going to see some 3 wide up here around Oscar Jensen here before too long. Well, I think we will.
So. I see down in the YouTube chat, Brian Odell was asking what happened to Timothy Latham. Just looking at his car here, Brian, it looks like he might have a little left rear damage right there by that bumper.
You're talking about the number 4?
The number 5, Timothy Latham,
the number 5, Timothy Latham. Oh, okay, looking at chat there. Yeah, Timothy Latham. Y'all heavy damage there on that number 5. Charlotte, that downforce here at Charlotte is key, Brandon. If you've got that damage like Timothy has, it could cost that downforce.
Yeah, and especially down the straightaways, he shouldn't have too much of a problem here through the corners. He seems like he's as quick as the drivers around him. But you can really kind of watch, and as they run down the front and back stretch where they're getting up to those high speeds, some of those drivers starting to pull away from Tim a little bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, back up here, I'm looking. The 16 of Dennis Ainsman to the inside of the 11. The 51 of Oscar Jensen down to the inside of the 4. Going to make the pass, but that 16 of Dennis Ainsman, he's not going to give up that position here, easy, as he's going to make Joshua Witherspoon here fight for that second place as they come out of 2 here tonight. These guys battling out like it's the last lap here this evening.
And you see Zach get a little bit loose there. They're going to tighten up back on him as well. And you might have called it a few laps ago. This 51 car back here of Oscar Jensen, he wants around the both of them. He might take us 3 wide for the first time.
Well, we haven't had that 3 wide here tonight, so no 3 wide medlock here so far. I imagine that's going to happen here. For sure, I gave you the insight on that 3 wide medlock, Brandon. So I think Oscar Jensen, it's still early. We are over halfway, Brandon. So do you take it 3 wide right now? I mean, really, do you?
I still think we're a little too early. I think there's still some racing to be done. You can be patient. You can see Oscar here. He actually decided to be a little patient. I think, that last sprint to the finish, you're going to see those 3 wide battles and maybe some contact coming up just because, like you said, they're going to be making those, bringing out that 3 wide medlock here. And, there's contact.
Oh, no, the 11 goes around. That's going to be Joshua Witherspoon. Let's get on that number 11 here. See what happened to Witherspoon, man. I don't know what happened, but we're going to go take a look at it here on the MaxSpeedTV
like the 51
replay.
Got a pretty good run down into that corner, and he just wasn't ready for Josh.
All right, well, we'll take a look at it here. Okay, across the stripe. Now down here into turn number 1. The 11 drops it down there in front of the 16. We're going to see here that number 51 get that run on that outside. But is this where it started? Now down into 3. Oh, Oh, yeah. Oh, man, the slightest bit of contact down into 3 is going to send that 11 around. Contact with the 51 and the 11. The 11 goes around in front of traffic. So that is where that caution is going to fly. The 11, though, somehow manages to keep it off the wall.
He hung on to that thing pretty well, and actually, from what it looks like, I saw pit road open there a little bit. It looks like he didn't even want those new tires.
Wow. I think he might be a little bit on that prowl here tonight. You know, I'm not saying he might be angry, but tempers do flare at Charlotte. So you think his temper may be, you know, going up a little bit here as that race progresses?
Yeah, I definitely believe so, especially, you know, with a little bit like that there. He'd been patient with a lot of guys around him, and it'll be interesting to see. He knows that number 11 as fast as can be, and, you know, maybe wishing a little bit more patience showed itself there. Definitely it'll be key to see here in the next few laps.
Well, my temper's flaring. This is a long race, Justin. 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern here tonight. Now, yes, we are over the halfway mark here this evening, but this is the longest race that these guys are going to have to endure, Brandon. So, and myself. But, you know, awesome racing out here by these guys for sure. Stage here, lap 1 of 50, of course, ended. So the next stage is going to be lap 225. So we've got a ways to go still yet for stage 3.
And, you know, you were kind of talking. I see the 11 car taking it down pit road now.
Okay.
You were kind of talking pre-race about, you know, fuel windows and tire windows. And if we look, we're coming up to be just short, just a little bit more than 50 laps to go left in this run. So we're going to see a different little bit of field, I believe, as we come further into this one.
Yeah, about 71 laps on the tires. 65 to 85 laps on the tires, Brandon. So, you know, I guess it really matters on really how you're saving out here at Charlotte. You know, I don't race much now since I broadcast. So, since the updates that iRacing has had with that new tire model and the way those tires fall off, I really don't know what that tire window is. You know, that's just what I guesstimate and what I gather. You know,
No, and that's definitely, you know, when you get to this window, it's going to be, those tires are going to be junked, but, you know, they are very capable of making it this far, depending on how hard you run them throughout the run. We could see, you know, a lot of these guys that your fuel window set right about 42 to 51 laps, so you're going to be just on the cusp of making it based on the fuel window and saving. You know, we saw about a 50 lap run earlier, and we heard Zach York say that he was close on fuel. That's where they're going to be here. They're going to be close coming to the end of the stage if it stays green of making it. So you could have those guys playing that gamble to try to reach up and steal stage 3.
Oh, yeah, stage 3 here going to be coming to 225, like I said, folks. We are going to be coming here to the restart of stage number 2 here. Coming to the race it up for stage 3, I should say. I don't think fuel-wise, though, they can make it here, though. Lap 175 and 225. No, they can't make it. There's no way.
Yeah, and maybe that was the thoughts amongst those front cars that didn't pit. They knew they were going to have to pit again for fuel before this is over, and maybe that was their way of not coming in and burning up a set of tires, knowing no matter what, you know, they're not going to make it.
All right, we got some talking out there in chat. Brad Slaughter Jr. out there in chat. Sergeant Slaughter, as we call him. Glad to see you out there, Brad. Looks like Jake and Brian talking some wrestling out there, as well as Jake. But We got racing out here tonight coming around turn number 4 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Zach York now to the inside. Dennis Ainsman to the outside. Pace car's going to make its dive off to the safety of pit road. Rick's Hot Sauce, green flag, is going to be back out here tonight. It's been one long night here, folks. So, sorry, Rick's Hot Sauce. Didn't mean to forget you out there, but... oh, man. Not used to these long races as we see Christopher Kimry there go into second around Dennis Ansman back to third.
You know, I clicked back through the field, Josh, and was riding with some different drivers. I'm not sure what happened to that Greg Klein machine, but it looks like he's picked up a lot of damage too along the way.
Oh, Greg Klein, yeah, he's got that right front. He's got that rear. Oh, Greg. Oh, Greg going to come down pit road here this time. This time by. Looks like battles throughout the field here as well. Jeremy Boucher to the inside of that. I don't know who that is. The 51.
69 of Bob Carroll.
Bob Carroll. Okay, Bob Carroll. Let's see here. Bob Carroll. Yep, there he is. I found him.
Boucher's had himself a pretty quiet night. He's been up there in the top 10, you know, just being quiet, riding his race, and we're starting to see him bust his way up into the top 5 now.
All right, Luis Lopez out there in chat. Glad to see you, Luis Lopez. Yeah, GT, you didn't make it's not mission accomplished, but I seen you. Glad to see everybody out there tuning in. Mark Nadeau out there in the chat. Jordan Brockell in Facebook as well. Mark Nadeau. Glad to see you both out there here tuning in. Long race here, Brandon. I mean, it is so hard to keep up with all the battles here with open setups and the long race that they're having for sure.
Yeah, and being at Charlotte, as quick as Charlotte is and as fast paced of a racetrack as it is, you know, we could be occupied with the guys we've seen up front, you know, Dennis Ansman and Zach York battling and not have anything anywhere in the field. And by the time their battle really settles down, you could have 3, 4, 5 battles that have popped up deep in the field.
Yes, you can. Well, I noticed that Timothy Latham, I've been asked about Timothy Latham in chat, and you know, I'm all about my fans out there in chat and their drivers and who they root for. Notice Timothy Latham back here, running usually where he's not normally running, you know, mid-pack here at about 12. He fell back, got passed up by Bob Carroll, Josh Buckman, and Travis Dowley. So, you know, it is Timothy, you know, trying to, you know, see kind of what these other drivers ahead of him are doing compared to what he may be doing on this open setup, and maybe make some adjustments here at the final stage for that shootout to the finish.
Yeah, it seems almost like he's back there. He's almost wanting to be in that dirty air. And no, you see back here, he's able to run up on Bob Carroll and run close with him and see how that car's starting to react. You know, when he was running at the front of the pack, they kind of spread out a little bit. And I do want to take a time off from that there and let you know Jeremy Boucher has drove through this field. In about another half lap, he's going to be in the lead here on Zach York.
Yep, Timothy Latham going to make the pass there, but Zach York now up front. Oh, Jeremy Boucher now to the inside, door to door with the 49 of Zach York out of 2, still side by side. Can Boucher make this pass here tonight? And he'll do it out of 3 and 4 here. Jeremy Boucher coming to the line. He will lead his first lap here tonight. Battle for second behind him.
I tell you, him and Oscar both have come through this field since this restart here, and they're really actually Boucher's about to battle with Oscar Jensen here for the lead. But yeah, I do think back to what you said a moment ago that I think Timothy Latham is kind of playing strategy a little bit. He's kind of back there seeing what his car does close in around cars, and you know he could be banking on seeing what his car can do on the long run and on a full fuel load in hopes that 75 lap shootout at the end comes down to fuel strategy.
Well, I'm looking back at Robert Montgomery. Now, Robert Montgomery, I've known Robert for a little bit. Robert Montgomery back here started 14th. He is currently running in 4th. You can't count out, though, and I say it on all my broadcasts, you cannot count out anybody in any race, from super speedways to short tracks to mile and a half. Robert Montgomery has found his way up to 4th, now to the inside of the 49 of Zach York, battling here for that 3rd spot. Could it be Robert Montgomery come away with the victory here tonight? Or maybe even a top 3? That's the thing, Brandon. We don't know.
Yeah, and it's to a point now, where you're seeing both he and Montgomery Motorsports teammate Oscar Jensen took tires there, and they're showing that they do have this speed, and they're smart drivers, and you could see Robert Montgomery very well stealing a win here tonight.
Well, Brian O'Dell, buddy, I appreciate that comment out there. Saying Joshua is always the best announcer. Man, I do appreciate it out there. And Luis Lopez out there agreeing. Yeah, they usually aren't this long, but this is, like I said, folks, the longest race the iRacing Virtual Cup Series is going to run this season. Of course, open setups. They run the full length, the NASCAR races. I think it's 75% lengthwise.
Yes,
As I'm saying, seeing in chat, GT Hawkins Racing not part of IVCS, but I think it's 75% lengthwise. Correct, Brandon?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And just wanted to touch there again. We was talking about Robert Montgomery. It looks like his last lap was a 29.430, and both of the two cars in front of him ran a 29.6. So Robert Montgomery right now the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, Robert Montgomery. It's going to be interesting to see who really, I know the fastest lap on the track, the race doesn't receive a bonus point, but it's going to be interesting to see who gets that fastest lap as well here tonight at Charlotte. We still got a potential battle here for the lead between Jeremy Boucher and Oscar Jensen. We did get a chance to interview Oscar earlier on, but a teammate behind him at about 1 point, at about a second behind him of Robert Montgomery. I think these two may be talking and trying to get around Jeremy Boucher. I don't know if they're going to do it now, but they're going to have to pit before the end of stage 2 here. Or stage 3, sorry.
Yeah, and again, just as you'd said, I've got a little bit of stats up here on the screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
It looks like the fastest lap in the race right now is Benjamin D with a 28.609. But back to the fastest lap during this run for the last 3 laps, and we'll see as they cross the line here, it has been the 52 by just a little bit. 2/10 again there. He's run a 7.71, and you had a 9.75 and a 9.93 ahead of him. So definitely Robert Montgomery's making up a little bit of time here.
Yep, take a look at Robert Montgomery. He has closed in to that number 51 of Oscar Jensen. Now, the top 3, they're really close, but let's get back here to the middle of the pack here, and especially Joshua Witherspoon. He's making moves here, back up toward the front, now to the inside of that 77 of Mark Kuda. It looks like we have behind him the 07 of Tim Hendry and that 55. That is going to be Jordan Sailors a couple of laps down. But Joshua Witherspoon, he's coming back up toward the front slowly. Is there enough laps for him to get back up front before the end of the stage here?
I do believe, looking at how spread out they are, I believe he'll gain a few more. He might have enough tire left, and of course a pit stop still imminent for all of these guys. I do believe he might have a little bit of enough tire to get back to the top 5. You're starting to see, Dennis Ansman went ahead and he pulled down, and he's going to make his pit stop now. Dennis Ansman is on pit road. A couple of these guys maybe playing a little bit of a strategy game that once it all cycles out, we could see Dennis Ansman back out front. Josh Witherspoon. Be interesting to see if he pits again here early and sees what he can do moving forward.
All right. Well, I do got a kind of a poke here. From Dennis Nickel. He is setting on pit road, unfortunately, in that 00. Not the race he wanted. Let's see if we can find Dennis Nickel to get him up here in the booth. Such a long race, we do want to get, some drivers up here to talk to. Maybe not the way they want to be interviewed, but let's go ahead and get him up here. Let me see if I can find him.
As you do find him through the field here in Discord, I do just want to hit on a note that it looks like a couple of guys have started to make their green flag pit stops. As I mentioned, Dennis Ansman came down. Looks like Timothy Latham has made his. Zach York's fallen back. So those guys starting this early green flag pit stop and see where they cycle back out.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that here. Let's bring down Dennis Nickel here. Dennis, not the race you wanted here tonight, but a long race for sure, man. Tough break out there, buddy. Talk about it, man. Dennis Nickel. You there? All right, we'll wait for Dennis to get back in here. He might have stepped away. Dennis, just say, hey, I'm here when you get back. But Josh Buckman, yeah, off of pit road here this evening. Green flag pit stops are happening here tonight under this stage here this evening, Brandon. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know really how it's going to cycle out here this evening.
I'm curious to see. You got your lead back up here. You got 3 cars under half second of each other. Looks like Oscar Jensen's looking under Boucher, but I'm curious to see what these front 3 do. The 3 that have kind of stepped away. They're going to be borderline of being short, and they're going to be on an odd strategy with everyone else. The stage will obviously end and play part into that, but these cars that have pitted now, they're going to be coming like rocket ships compared to these front 3.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Dennis Nickel, buddy, you there? All right, we'll go ahead and pull him back up there. I don't know if that's the correct team or not, but we'll go ahead and get him up there. I don't want to keep him down here, Dennis. Just send me a message here in Discord, buddy. In general chat, once you're available. As they make their green flag pit stops, I'll be sure to drag you back down here, bud. But
we've got a new leader out front.
Yep, Oscar Jensen. Oscar blinking out there a little bit. Jeremy Boucher back to second.
Yeah, I don't think he's done with that battle yet. He's not letting Oscar get too far away.
But 24 watching here as I'm seeing it. 21 likes here tonight on YouTube. I don't really see what's going on in Facebook, but still glad to have everybody out there tuning in this evening. Glad to have everybody out there supporting this tonight. And I'm tired. I'll admit, I'm tired.
Yeah, that's okay. This is a long one, and just talking again on stats, I saw Zach York's last lap time by after those pit stops. He ran a 28.2. I'm sorry, and the leaders are running those mid 30-second ranges now. So you see the difference already starting to play into the strategy.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see if we can get Dennis back here in the booth. Dennis, buddy, got a copy? Dennis, push the talk there, buddy. Nope, not going to be able to talk to Dennis Nickel here, but we see Mark Kuda come down pit road. He's on pit road here. It looks like another driver, Bob Carroll, now down pit road, this time by 203 of 300 here. Less than 100 to go, Brandon.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say. You're starting to get to the point of this race where these guys are feeling the finish line. They've ticked away 2/3, 66% of their race, and they're closing in on that last 33%.
Oh, Brian, I'm not going to get coronavirus, man. I'm good to go. I've got this race tonight. Of course, tomorrow night, an Indy 500. We'll get more into that later on. toward the end of the race. That's going to be another long race here on MaxSpeedTV. This is a long race. I'm watching Robert Montgomery here. Coming up on the 4 of Jeremy Boucher, the top 3 here. Pretty much nose to tail here tonight. Oscar Jensen, Robert Montgomery going to get around Jeremy Boucher as he falls back into 3rd. Now a little bit of crossover. Nope, that's not going to happen there for Jeremy Boucher. But these 3 drivers, they're pretty much still right here together.
Yeah, and they're hanging out tight together here. I believe Robert Montgomery wants a little bit of the spotlight here. He may be asking his teammate Oscar there to let him go by and maybe lead one. But he's put on a show. He's drove it. Yeah, there we see the 51 just going to give way to the 52 to get up there and lead him a lap.
Yep, Robert Montgomery now to the lead. He will lead a lap here tonight. Robert Montgomery up front has been out here that time by at 34 laps. The top 3, 34 laps. Get back here to Ted Poulin, who's also been out here at about 34 laps. Travis Dowley, Joshua Witherspoon. He has now 33 laps on his tires, so about a lap difference as the 97 gets around. That's going to be Benjamin D. Not for position. So 9 drivers right now on the lead lap, still waiting for some drivers to make their pit stops here this evening. But it has been one heck of a race for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you have these drivers down around 10th through about, looks like 14th, 15th place. They are just praying at this point that they do not see a caution. They've played their strategy. They're a little bit behind these guys that have to pit, and they want to see it cycle out now, and for those front guys to have to come down pit road.
Oh, man. I don't know what's going to happen here at the end. I really don't. You know, they're going to stack them up, rack them up, you know, coming to lap 2:25 at the end of the stage, the final stage, stage 3. And then a 75-lap shootout to the finish, Brandon. I really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's really hard to say at this point. I will say, just watching Ted Poulin here for a few laps, he might be playing a little bit of strategy game coming to the end of stage 3 here. It looks like he's not as hard on the throttle as these lead guys. We could watch that 54, see if he's going to try to stretch that gas all the way out. Will be interesting to see as we move forward, though, into this final stage. And you know, everyone obviously, when the stage is over, they're going to come down, they're going to pit. But then from there, your strategy is going to differentiate, because no matter what, you're not going to make it 75 laps on a tank of fuel. So you have one pit stop. Do you pit early? Do you pit late? Do you pit in the middle?
Yep, 42-51 on fuel. We know they can't make it, but 2:11 of 2:25 here for the end of the stage. Are they going to be able to make it here to the end of the stage? No, the top. No, these drivers cannot make it. They're going to have to come down pit road. Robert Montgomery, Jeremy Boucher, Oscar Jensen, Travis Dowley up to 4th. We see the battle there. Travis going to fall back as into 4th. Ted Poulin. I don't think these guys can make it to the end of this stage. Can they?
We were able to run on a lap of fuel at one point last night. I actually ran 47 laps. And you know, when I pitted, the crew chief told me, he said this was your last lap of fuel. So if, you know, maybe Ted Poulin and these guys stretch it, I think we went green with what, about 49, 50 laps to go.
They might be able to stretch it if they're saving. Oh, a caution! This is going to change things. Christopher Kimberly. Whoa!
That's a tough one for Kimry. He's been one of our front runners most of the night.
Well, let's take a look back here at Christopher Kimberly and see what happened. He's right behind the 16 thereof. I think that's Dennis Ansman. Yes, it is. So what happened to Christopher Kimmery? Looks like he's okay coming out of 2 onto the back stretch here and now down into 3. Oh, it looks like the slightest contact between him and the 4 of Jeremy Boucher. Both of them going to go into the inside wall. It looks like Jeremy and the 4 going to take the biggest hit there as the 74 punches him up into the wall. So, this kind of worked out here for several drivers. But still, you know, we've got the end of the stage to go here in about 10, 11 laps.
Yeah, and I think definitely we're going to cycle back through with Zach York and those guys back at the front of the pack here. But yet again, we'll have to watch, you know, some of these guys, the 52, the 51, those guys that are coming in to get fresh tires. You know, we've had these other guys that are cycling back to the lead now that maybe aren't going to pit again. But then you have these fresh tires again, and maybe we'll see more of what Josh did earlier.
All righty, folks. Well, let's go ahead and step away here for another commercial break here this evening. I didn't get a chance to play it. Let's go ahead and do it here tonight. The iRacing Virtual Cup Series here, folks. Let's do it. Alrighty, folks, a little bit of a quick commercial break there. I thought I had the iRacing Virtual Cup Series commercial, but it looks like I didn't have it. So just doing a little bit of side-by-side there. But Dakota Jorgensen going to be our leader here tonight as we make our pit stops here this evening. Tim Henry going to be in second, Ted Poole third, Robert Montgomery fourth, and Oscar Jensen going to round out the top 5. But coming to lap 217 here, they're going to get the green flag on 218 here this time. Brandon, you know, coming now down to about 8 here in the stage. I think it's going to get a little bit wild, you know, seeing as everybody's on fresh tires.
Yeah, everyone's back even again, and I think, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I believe we're going to have an interesting car winning this stage. We're going to have a little over just a few lap sprint here. I think you said 218 will be taking the green. About a 7-lap run to the end of the stage. We've got these cars that played that strategy. You got Ted pulling up here on fresh tires. Robert Montgomery. You know, Oscar Jensen's been quick. We got these guys up here that may reach up and steal a stage win. I know our chat would like to see Ted Pullen still win.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Everybody rooting there on Ted Poulin for sure. Oh, man, here we go. Coming down here to 218 of 225 for the end of stage 3, the final stage here tonight before we battle it down there to the end of 75 laps. Brandon, get them going here tonight with Dakota up front.
All right, Dakota Jorgensen trying to keep those tires up front and ready to go. Interesting field up here at the front. Just as Josh mentioned a moment ago, Tim Hendry up in the front. We're going to have an interesting finish here to this one. Waiting yet again on the pace car to take that left turn. It's up to Dakota Jorgensen to bring us back green flag racing, and he's off and wired.
All right, as my back continues to hurt here from Sutton tonight. I've been standing, but not as much. I think it's going to get wild here for sure as a battle here. Looks like Tim Hendry, Robert Montgomery going to do battle here for a second. Travis Dowling, Richard Springer, Ted Pullen, Oscar Jensen. We're going to go 3 wide. Nope, not yet. Almost 3 wide. Back up 3 wide. Right up ahead of them, folks. 3 wide Medlock here tonight. And they are almost 3 wide again through the tri-oval. Brandon, sorry about your eardrums there, bud.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. That was an exciting, and I don't think we're done 3 wide. Zach York.
With that. Nope, we're not.
Oh, there's contact. Going to get a caution.
Contact. No, caution is going to come flying as the 21 and that number 07 and the 16 of Dennis Hansman. They're going to hit the wall. The 23. Let's go back and take a look at the caution here this evening, folks. Oh, man, coming down to the wire of the stage, not the race. We see the 52 there hit the wall 3 wide up here. And that Tim Hendry there going to get loose contact being made. But it is not over. As we see Tim Hendry kind of push up the track there a little bit on that mid-line. As he gets a little bit loose there. It looks like contact there with, I don't know who that is. That is Tim on the outside, so that is going to be the 15. Looks like contact there. That's going to put Tim up in the wall. Contact with the 21, both of them hard into the inside wall. The 21 back up onto the track. And then a little bit of glitching action there. The 21 and I think it's the 69 going to glitch through. But we see Dennis Anzeman here. Looks like maybe trying to dodge it. And he is just going to lock it down. And then he's going to go hard into the wall. A little bit of contact there between him and the 23. So several drivers going to be involved in this wreck here this evening. That's going to give the lead up to Robert Montgomery.
Tell you the toughest break on that one there was Dennis Ansman. We've seen him at the front racing his heart out with Zach York most of the night, and he just caught the unfortunate end of the stick on this one, locks him down and gets it into the inside wall pretty good.
Oh, yeah, taking a lick on that inside wall, Brandon. You don't want to take a lick. You know, there's no resets. So, you know, they've got to, what they have is what they have. How about we get Travis Dowley up here? No, because he was involved in that. So let's not get him up here. How about we steal Timothy Latham? You know who that is.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of a quiet night from Tim, and we typically don't see that.
Well, let's see here if I can find Timothy Latham. That's the problem. I don't know where he's at.
Should be right below us in one sim.
One sim. All right, let's see here. There he is. Well, bring him up here. Timothy Latham, buddy. Joshua Medlock alongside Brandon Browning up here in the booth, buddy. Got a copy?
Sure do.
Well, Timothy, I don't want to jinx you, but we're coming down to the wire here of the stage, man. What's it going to take to bring out the win here this evening of the stage?
I don't know. I mean, we got into some stuff early, and the 00 came down and shot me. I don't know what it was about, but got a little damage from that. Then I got hit by another car, and I got about 30 seconds of damage, so we're not too bad, but hopefully we can get all of it fixed here at the end of this stage and get up there, but it's crazy out here tonight.
Oh, yes, it is. Well, Brandon, anything for Timothy before we get him back down to one sim here and get ready for the really coming down to the end of the final stage here tonight?
Just wanted to ask Tim, you got a little bit of strategy saved up for these boys in the last sprint?
A little bit. You know, everyone's been playing around with tire strategy, so we'll see how that all plays out. But I think I got something on my sleeve here.
Looking forward to seeing you come back up, buddy. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Good luck, Tim.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Bud. All right, Timothy Latham. That is who it's going to be in the number 5 for our interview here. Looks like we're going to have some waiver rounds here. Everybody getting back into position here this evening. Ted Poulin back up into 6. He started 12th. We've seen Ted, kind of make his way back up toward the front here throughout the race. Dennis Ainsman looks like, even with that damage on the front, we're going to have to wait and see here. Coming down to the end of the stage, if something happens, Dennis Ainsman could come away with the stage win, even back here in 10th. So I wouldn't count out anybody out coming into the end of the stage here, but we're going to get that one to go here. We're going to have a couple of lap shootout here this evening for the end of the stage, lap 223. So 224, 225, and about 3 laps here coming to the end of stage 3 here this evening.
Definitely wasn't something that Robert Montgomery and Dakota Jorgensen wanted to see, because the 4th place restarting car has been our car to beat all night. It's a Zach York machine, the 49, going to restart right even with these guys again.
All right, well, I'm going to yet again, Brandon, I'm going to let you get them going here tonight with Robert Montgomery and Dakota Jorgensen going to be running up front. I think Robert is our leader, but that's from the stats I'm getting. So get them going here, buddy.
All righty, it looks like it's going to be up to the 52 Ford machine there, Robert Montgomery. He'll even himself out with Dakota Jorgensen on the outside, and everybody pretty even on tires here. We're going to see, just what everybody has here on this sprint to the end. These guys at the front want to continue this last couple of laps out there, and Zach York, I know he's dying to get that car back out front. This is an anxious few moments here as we wait on the pace car. And he's going to just begin to make this left side turn here. Maybe a little bit of strategy for Montgomery, who's laying back just a hair. Back hard on the throttle. And we're green flag racing. Great restart by the 52 machine. He's going to dive it down to the inside and take us back. Green flag racing.
Yes, we are green flag lap 224, 225 here, folks. Coming down to the end of the stage here, folks. Stage 3. Can Robert Montgomery capitalize on the stage as we go 2 wide behind him? Here comes Oscar Drenson. Travis down. Oh, the 49, Zach York going to get around. Joshua Witherspoon, Dakota Jorgensen. Robert Montgomery going to take lap 225. One more lap here tonight, folks, before we come to the end of the stage here this evening. Can they run down Robert Montgomery, who has been really fast here tonight, just buying his time? Robert Montgomery on the back stretch here, now down into turn 3. Will be coming out of turn 4 here this time by Robert Montgomery here, folks, is going to win stage number 2 here tonight. What a run for Robert Montgomery.
And I tell you, that man right there, I would have liked to have had a heart rate monitor on that guy, because he knew he had those fast cars behind him, and he didn't make a mistake there through that short little run we had. He kept the car under him, and he took off and held the spot that he wanted to hold.
Yes, he did. Robert Montgomery going to win that shootout for the end of the stage here tonight. Of course, we're going to wait for them to. I think they may come down pit road here. Will they? Doesn't look like they're. I don't see them coming down pit road.
They might slip down here on the next lap. I expected to see. Now, if they don't pit here, that will be super interesting. A lot of these guys probably have their max fuel run loaded up. They know what their tires are going to do on these long runs. So this could be the differentiating strategies that we're going to have. We could see guys pit shortly after green, guys run it out. But we'll see what happens here. I do want to touch, we spoke earlier about Dennis Ansman. Just watching him run on that restart there, that car actually looked okay after that hard inside wall hit. time if maybe we have some takers to pit road.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting here to see what Robert's going to do because I don't want to pull him down if he's going to come down pit road. He's not going to come down pit road, so let's get Robert Montgomery up here in the booth. Robert Montgomery, buddy, stage 3 winner here, the final stage here this evening. Man, how does it feel, buddy?
Hey, Josh, how you doing, man? Doing good, doing good.
Well, it's still, a long race, here tonight, but we got
we still have a long way to go.
Ahead. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
No, we still have a long way to go. We're really concentrating this season here to catapult Oscar in the finals, the playoffs, of course. But we're surprised to be running as good as we are tonight. But we'll take that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, Robert, 75. It's going to be less than 75 laps here. So, if you have a potential to win it, what's it going to take to win it? We know you're fast. We know you have a clean car. So, what's it going to take, bud?
Well, I think it's still patience at this point. We have a long way to go. So, we're just going to keep working our plan, see where we fall. I just wanted to come out here tonight with my first night with this league and not ruffle any feathers. And that's what we're doing.
Yes, sir, we are. Robert, well, congratulations on the final stage win here tonight, buddy. Hey, less than 75 laps before the checkered flag, man. Good luck, bud.
Hey, thanks, man. Let's rock and roll.
Uh-huh. All right, getting back down there to Montgomery Motorsports. Man, but Robert Montgomery, buddy, coming in first race with the league, Brandon, winning the stage, that took away from stage points from some of these other drivers.
Yeah, and that's a big capitalization because there you look and you have his teammate that ran pretty good. He was able to counter just as you said. He took away those stage points from some of these other guys. Zach York was quick. The 11 car, Josh Witherspoon, guys that are already locked in and doing well. He took those stage points away from them, and not only in his first race out. First impressions mean everything, and this has been a solid one from Robert Montgomery.
Oh yes, it has.
Interesting though, as we see some of these guys still up here that did not pit. Couple cars there at the front. Zach York, Robert Montgomery. Those guys stayed out, and I'm curious to see where they go with strategy. I'm not sure what the fuel level looks like left in those cars. But
yeah, I don't know. They can't make it, so they'll have to pit, at least for fuel.
Could be shooting just for that number there to kind of put together a long one and see what happens. Obviously here you're wanting to play the cycle where they've decided to stay out. They're wanting to see a long green flag run or an early caution, either one, where they can come down, run 10-15 laps on the tires, wear the new off the tires behind them, and then get a pit, a caution for pit stops. Obviously you don't want to see it go green a long time, and right as you bring the car to pit road you get a caution. That just throws strategy away.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, now coming down to the stripe here, it looks like they're going to get the one to go here. Double file. Yes, one to go here this evening. It's going to be Robert Montgomery down on the inside of the 51 of his teammate there, Oscar Jensen, for Montgomery Motorsports. Congratulations to Robert yet again for winning stage 3 of the final stage. This has been one heck of a race here tonight live on Facebook for MaxSpeedTV. I know it's on my personal page, but it's still MaxSpeedTV. Live on MaxSpeedTV on YouTube as well. Thank you, everybody, between the two for tuning in here tonight. Different people out there here this evening between YouTube and Facebook. So I appreciate everybody out there for tuning in for what we do. But this is racing. I mean, this is virtual racing, but it's racing. Our racing has made it as real as it could be, and they're still doing updates throughout the months to make it even more realistic. So Thank you, everybody, again. But Robert Montgomery is going to be getting them going here, coming out of turn 3 and 4 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 300 laps these guys are going to be undertaking here this evening. Long race, but here we go, folks. Out of turn number 4, that pace car is going to make its down to the safety of pit road. Once that pace car is off, Robert can go at any time. He's going to hold him back, and he is going to slowly go, but he is on the loud pedal. Here we go, folks. The final stage underway here tonight for the Our Racing Virtual Cup Series, round 14 of season 1. The struggle beyond the decade, 300 here at Charlotte. Again, a shout out to Struggle Beyond the Decade for coming on and supporting this broadcast here tonight, Brandon. And this is not over.
No, this is far from over, and I want to touch and thank yet again the guys at the Struggle Beyond the Decade. Great story that they told before the race. If you guys happen to miss that, you can probably check it again on the feed. I know on Facebook it'll be there. That's a wonderful thing that they're doing out there for all over. We do have a caution on the racetrack, actually. The 24 Dakota Jorgensen goes around.
The 24 Dakota Jorgensen. Let's get back down here and see what happened to that number 24 machine. Well, it's early on in the stage here, the final stage, Brandon, so I don't think it's going to really play a big factor. They're still going to have to pit, but, you know, they can save fuel under caution. So, before we get to that, let's take a look and see what happened to Dakota Jorgensen here in that number 24. He's coming up on the 54 of Ted Poulin. I don't think, oh, he might have tagged the wall. He does shoot down there. Oh, no! Ted Poulin gets below that blue line and then, just gets a little wiggly, and then the 24 goes around. Oh, there might have been a little bit of hammy netcode action there between the two.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a little bit of net code as the 24 closed upon the 54 Ted Poulin as he got down on the apron there. And I don't think, I definitely don't think it was intentional. Maybe it could have just happened too fast for Jorgensen to really check up or do anything. But I don't believe anything there other than the net code, like you mentioned.
All right, under caution here tonight, of course, we're going to go over the cautions here this evening. This includes the stage cautions, folks. So they have not had a total of 11, but this includes the stages. So 11 caution laps here tonight, 40 laps under caution. We've got still 67 laps to go. 42 to 51 on fuel. Nope, they cannot make it. Still yet here tonight. 21 lead changes we have had here this evening, Brandon. So I still think that strategy for fuel, I don't know if it's going to come down to tires. I think it might come down to fuel now.
Yeah, I definitely think we're kind of getting into the window, and it's really going to depend on what happens over the course of this next 20, 30 laps. If we stay green for that amount of time, you're going to have guys that are then in that window. And just as you said, if we go green here and we don't see any cautions, this isn't simply going to come down to tires. This is going to be fuel and fuel only deciding this one. And I was sitting here thinking, as we come through this caution, I'm wondering what these two guys up front here in Montgomery Motorsports, they've got something up their sleeve. Of course, we talked to Timothy Latham there at the, back a little while at the end of the stage or under caution. And he said he had some things up his sleeve. Obviously, Zach York didn't pit on our previous caution. He didn't take tires, so he's going to have strategy. And that's really what you're seeing at the front of this field now is just the different strategies and where the cautions fall, whether you're going to be able to stick with them, abandon ship, or, what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the top three did not pit here, so different strategy. Yeah, I know we have not interviewed a lot of drivers here tonight, folks, but, with the long race that these drivers are enduring, the concentration level is at its highest. So, I do pick and choose on when I interview somebody. But don't get me wrong, I appreciate every single driver out here. I don't know if I could do 300 laps here in Charlotte. I don't think I
Like
could.
I said it last night, man. I done 150, and it doesn't seem it doesn't seem realistic to think, 150 laps. My shoulders were aching, and they've doubled that here. And just as you said, it's tough. We're in a tough part of this race, being 300
Yep.
laps. These drivers are beyond exhausted, both mentally and physically. They've got just a short sprint to finish out here, and chances are these caution laps probably aren't helping.
Oh yeah, for sure. You had the stages and then the cautions on top of it. So, yeah, it's definitely not helping these drivers. They want to get it done, get it over with. But it's still a battle for the win, for sure. So, what could happen as we come across the stripe here? Oscar Jensen choosing to take the outside line. His teammate Robert Montgomery going to be going onto the inside line this time by Zach York third, Joshua Witherspoon fourth, Timothy Latham going to be fifth, Dennis Ansman in sixth or fifth. They change here on double file. So it's 1 through 5 here, folks. So it's going to come down here to who can save, who splash of fuel, whatever the case may be. So, Brandon, as we come out of 2 here, buddy, I'm going to let you get them going here. Coming to lap 237, bud.
10-4. I'll take us back and just touch on what you said there. At this point in the race, we've got a big grab bag, and everybody's reaching in on their late race strategy, and they're pulling a number. And whatever number ends up being the last one standing when you pit, what lap and how many laps and what happens, greens or cautions, that's really going to determine this race here at this point. We're coming into turns 3 and 4. We're coming into turns 3 and 4 here. We're going to get going yet again. Late race in this stage here. These guys can feel the end of this race, and they know that it's drawing closer and closer. We're going to have the 2 Montgomery Motorsports cars waiting on the caution car, the pace car, to take us back. Green flag racing. Here we go. It's up to the leader, which I do believe Oscar Jensen, hard back to the throttle, and he's going to take us down the front stretch into turn 1. Got a little bit of a cluster jam behind them. The 52, the 49, and the 11 all bunched up. Those guys behind them trying to make way. Zach York. It's been a while since we saw him in the lead. He's got his nose poked under now, that 52 car. Oscar Jensen on a little bit of a breakaway here. He's breathing nice and easy for the time being. But Robert Montgomery's going to get a run down into 3 and 4 this time, coming back to the line, going to pressure his teammate through the top 5. We've got Oscar Jensen out on point, Robert Montgomery following him. Joshua Witherspoon slid into 3rd, Zach York back to 4th, and yet again, where you see Zach York, you see Dennis Ansman back in 5th, holding that car together well after the incident that he was in not too long ago. We're coming down, and we're starting to tighten up these front 3 or 4 cars here. We're going to see what these cars have left in the tank, both, metaphorically, what they have in the gas tank and what they have left as drivers themselves. I will say Joshua Witherspoon just ran the fastest lap of the race, fastest lap on the track, of course, and he's sitting in 3rd right now. So, he's starting to show his stuff. He's showing its go time as he picked up about a 10th on the previous fastest lap overall in the race.
Yeah, Joshua Witherspoon, I'm sure that's who you was talking about. Had to step away, folks. But, yeah, Joshua Witherspoon, now on the inside of the 52 of Robert Montgomery here. Zach York there now in 4th. A green flag here. They've got a couple of laps there on the tires. But you talk about, there's the caution. Tim Hendry is around.
You had spoke earlier, Josh. You were wondering, as we get back into the caution here, you were wondering when we were going to start seeing these cars really amp up the racing. I was watching the lap times during that little bit of a run there. We had 3 to 4 drivers down in the 28.5 second range. So we're starting to click those fast laps off now.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Timothy Latham being one of them. But taking a look here at Tim Hendry, see what happened to Tim. He does have the 74 behind him. Oh, right there it was. Just as they crossed the stripe, Right there, contact between the 74 and that 07. The 74 and the 07 going to make again contact. Going to see him, Tim Hendry, around on the racetrack. The 74 is going to be Christopher Kimbrey. Going to have some heavy nose damage here. The lap 241 here of 300. Do you think they pit? Do they pit?
We're starting to really close in. I
Nope.
believe they're just. I don't believe we see anyone pit here. Now next caution. If we have another caution, all bets are off. If we can get a few green flag laps here, you're going to be super close to trying to stretch it to the end. Personally, I'm a fuel mileage guy. I'd like to see this turn into a fuel mileage race and see what we can do on that aspect.
Battle it out on the fuel. I could see it. I really could.
That's what it feels like we're coming down to here. It'll be interesting, just as we talked before, though. These guys are getting super racy. They're tired. They're ready to get these laps over with and move on.
Yeah. I'm ready to get the laps over with.
Yeah, and just to think about it. You just think about it from their standpoint. Every time that yellow flag pops up and their spotter says, "Yep, we got a caution," they're beside themselves because they're through. They've been through the ringer.
All right. Well, a shout out here to all of our sponsors here this evening. Everybody. I can't name them all because I don't have them wrote down in front of me here tonight, but give a shout out to everybody out there, all the sponsors here for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series, as well as MaxSpeedTV, the Green Flag, the Grid Row. Glad to have everybody out there, all of our fans out there from Facebook to YouTube. Glad to see everybody out there tuning in. Yes, it's a long race here for sure. We still got some laps left to go, Brandon, and I can't stress it enough. It's strategy right now.
Yeah, and that's really, we're coming down to just over 50 laps left. And that's really, honestly, all that's left in this race to point is strategy, knowing what's going to work, what's not going to work. And I tell you, a guy we talked to on an interview, we pulled him up a while back, but he's found his way up to the second spot. Is Joshua Witherspoon. He's been playing the strategy game the whole night. He said he had those tires saved up. And right now, if we keep this up for these 50 laps, we're going to get just what Josh was hoping for.
Oh, yeah, we take a look. He's been out here at about 15 laps. So the caution came out about 13 laps on his tires. So, we know he's got the tires. We know he can make it on tires. But can he make it on fuel? What is he doing to save on fuel? I don't think he can save 50, 60 laps on fuel, though.
No, he's definitely got one more left. And just watching him here, riding around under caution, you can see you got Oscar Jensen up there in the lead. He knows he's not going to make it. His strategy's broken up to where he wants it. But you see that 11 car, he'll get up there beside the 51, and he'll drift back closer to that 52. So maybe he's a couple laps short, being Josh Witherspoon, of where he wants to pit and bring this one home. Because it does look like, obviously, he's not going to save out the 50 laps, but he's trying to save a few more, it looks like.
Yeah, all it takes, though, is one lap. One lap saved just enough to finish it. Come down, get a splash of fuel just enough to get around everybody as you make it back out onto the racing surface, Brandon. Coming to lap 245 here this time by a man of 300. Oh, I'm tired. Go ahead and get them going.
All righty. We'll take it over. And one thing, just thinking outside of the box to touch on Josh Witherspoon here, he obviously can't make it to the end. He could be one of those guys that he starts saving now, and all the fuel that he can save up, he has to take less on pit road, which is a quicker pit stop, when they all do come down to make their final stop. And that could be the difference of one or two
What are they running,
positions.
75 or 70% fuel? I think it's 70, right?
It's 75. It's the same as
75.
their stage, yeah.
Oh, okay. 75% fuel, 75% of the racing. So, yeah, 75% fuel, save as much as you can. Come down and take a couple of gallons, get back out there on the track. Get them going here, Brandon.
All righty, we're headed back down into turn 3. The lights on the pace car are off. Again, just want to give a quick shout out to Struggle Beyond the Decade again for hosting with us here. Appreciate those guys and all they were doing. We're going to get them fired up for the last little bit of this race here. The 11 car, Josh Witherspoon on the outside of Oscar Jensen. The pace car is off. Everybody revving those tires up, getting them ready to go. The leader, Oscar Jensen, hard on the gas pedal across the start-finish line in just a moment.
Oh, a little bit of
Hopefully,
a
the final
bump.
strategy.
A little bit of a bump there by the 52 of his partner or teammate there of Robert Montgomery. Gave Oscar a shove. That's going to put Joshua all the way back here into fourth as everybody right up in front of him is going to get around. But this could be my strategy with Joshua Witherspoon as the Timothy Latham going to get around. Here comes the 16 of Dennis Hansman now to the inside of the 11. Oscar back up front. I think it's strategy. I think Joshua is on a strategy here. Just kind of fall back, save fuel, save tires. Do what you can. Yeah, do what you can to, anticipate, maybe not look for a caution because if something was to happen with, maybe he's on his strategy, he may not be wanting a caution. Now, as he makes a run here on the 5 of Timothy Latham,
he's another interesting. Go ahead.
He's pushing back up toward the front. Maybe he's not saving as much as we thought.
We've got another interesting strategy up here. We've got the 51 of Oscar Jensen out front, and we've got the rolling roadblock right now that his teammate is keeping that 49 at bay behind him, and that's Robert Montgomery. I believe he's trying to let Oscar get away a little bit while this 49 stays behind him and maybe give Oscar a chance to win it. We heard from him, and he said that was his goal, so it'll be interesting. I do see Josh Witherspoon starting to make his way back through the field, and he's coming with a full head of steam. Maybe he's just got the green light to go ahead with the strategy that they've come up with.
Well, a little bit of blocking never hurt anything. It's not harming anybody out here right now. So, Robert may be putting a little bit of a block there on the 49, but Joshua now on the outside of Robert Montgomery. Robert being too concentrated on that 49 didn't probably anticipate that number 11 shooting it on the outside going into second this time.
Yeah, and that was one thing that I think the 49, especially with anyone else out here, obviously the 51 didn't want to see it, the 52, but Zach York knows that 11 car's been fast tonight, and he probably didn't want to see him get around the 52 before he did. But we'll see if we stay green here. My money's still on that 49 car. He's been tough and solid all night long on the long run.
Yeah, so you're kind of picking Zach York here tonight in a way. Yeah, you said you weren't going to pick him. You said you weren't going to pick him.
That's what I told him, man. I know when he was sitting up there, I told him I wasn't going to pick him, but he showed me tonight that he's tough, and especially the longer we go green. Of course, Timothy Latham, he's finally put his car running order back together, and it looks like he's about to slide out of the 5th spot there behind Dennis Ansman, but he said he had some strategy, and that's what I'm looking forward to most with the laps that we have left here is what kind of strategy. And you see the 11, after clearing the 52, hasn't really made a whole lot of headway on Oscar Jensen out front.
No, Oscar's still keeping that gap at about 8 to 9/10 of a second there over Joshua Witherspoon. But even Joshua has not broken away of the 52 either of Robert Montgomery. What a finish, here it would be for Oscar and Robert. Robert being his first race here for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. For a teammate, maybe to win it, or him maybe to win it, and, finish 1 and 3, or maybe 1-2, that would be an awesome finish for these drivers. But we do see the 49 of Zach York there kind of peeking out there, but he doesn't have the run on the 52. Kind of opened up the outside line of Timothy Latham, but Timothy not going to take the chance there on the outside line. That's the top 5. Get back here to Benjamin D and Dennis Hansman. I've been watching Dennis here for a couple of laps. He's been trying to make some moves. Got around Benjamin D, and then now Benjamin there going to go to the inside. But you can't count out Dennis Hansman. Benjamin D is a battle up ahead of him. Mark Kuda and Dakota Jorgensen as well. Nice to see Dakota back out here after getting into an incident there, Brandon. He's still looking strong here late in the race.
Yeah, it definitely shows a lot about his poise and to not to give up in that car. You know, it wasn't long that we saw him on the replay, spun around and getting a little bit of damage it looked like, but he's he's hanging strong in there in that 24 car, and I think they got Liberty University on board and looking
Yep.
good out here tonight. Just trying to close it out. I'm curious to know what happened with Dennis Ansman. He was up running right alongside of the 5 car for 5th place, and now he slipped back a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him as we go on as well.
A strategy call. Looks like Dennis Hansman's been out here at about 27 laps. The drivers ahead of him all the way up to at about Timothy Latham at about 27 laps. The top three, except for Joshua Witherspoon, who is in second, been out here at about 40 laps. So different tire strategies, playing that tire game, playing that fuel game. You see the battle back here between Zach York and now the 5 of Timothy Latham. Like I said, and I can't stress it enough here, Brandon, it's strategy. Long race, you know what's going to happen or what could happen. You have got to balance out your tires and fuel down to that checkered flag.
Yeah, and this race, as we've seen it, it's been a little crazy so far, but they're less than 10 laps from being in their fuel window to make it to the end. So here within the next 10 laps, if we stay green, we're going to see all kinds of different strategies. Some guys running long, some guys running short, some guys going ahead and getting the tires now and making up what time they can. We're closing in on that window of where you can make it to the end, and we're really almost there.
Oh, yes, we are. And, man, this race has been phenomenal here tonight. These drivers still putting in the laps here tonight. We've been live here this evening for quite some time here. It's been a long race for sure. But the strategy, it's going to come down to strategy. Who's really going to make that first dive down pit road? That's going to be the thing. Robert Montgomery now on the outside. Here comes the 11 of Joshua Witherspoon. Robert going to get around on the outside, it looks like. Joshua going to fall back to third. Who's going to make the dive down to pit road here as we finalize here now down to 40 laps remaining here this evening?
Yeah, and I have to speak again to Robert Montgomery. That car, he's really impressed me tonight. He's ran his race. He's been solid. He hasn't really been in anyone's way. He's a second and a half behind his teammate here in Oscar Jensen, who he's obviously, like he said, trying to help out. But I think he learned a lot from that race last night, and he's putting it into use here tonight.
Oh, not to interrupt you, Joshua Witherspoon diving down pit road. Yeah, like 260 here. He's going to cross the line on pit road to make it 261. So 40 laps. It's going to be 40 laps to go here for Joshua Witherspoon as he makes his dive down to the safety of pit road for the final time here tonight. For 42 to 51, he can make it. So
yeah. And he spoke with us earlier up here in the booth, and he said he wanted a long green flag run, and I think that's what he's banking on now. I think this strategy might have been a little bit pre-designed and something that he was looking forward to and wanting to work out this way.
All right, Joshua now off of pit road, 1 lap down. Dale Long, Bobby Johnson out there in chat here tonight. Glad to see you both out there in Facebook here this evening.
Like we had any takers that time around the track, staying all out on the racetrack. Curious to see now, you have the fine line now because the fastest laps on the racetrack are coming from Josh Witherspoon in that 11 machine.
Oh,
and he only fell back to 12th.
Yeah.
So now you're in a spot where, depending on what everyone else does, is going to determine the outcome for Josh. If they stay out here and let him eat away that lap time, that's good for him because he'll cycle back around to the leader. But it's also bad for him because as we get later in this run, they're going to have newer tires.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And what is he going to save? Is he going to save his tires? Is he going to try to take the lead and just hunker down and then just go and, hope that, nothing happens and everybody burns him up coming back up to chase him down? that's where the strategy now will really come into play. We see a battle here between Robert Montgomery and Timothy Latham. Timothy going to go to the inside as they were door to door there. Very, very close battle. Yes.
Yeah. And I think really, and if I'm thinking just of Timothy Latham, right, and we've saw what that 49 car's done all night. In his mind, even though that 11's pitted, I believe he knows he's racing this 49 for what could be the race win. Of course, Oscar is well out front, but on the long runs, we've typically seen that 49 be the class of the field. And maybe Timothy knows that, and that's what this is here. He's trying to stick just with the 49. And I would say when one pits between these two cars, the 49 and the 5, the other's only a lap behind.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, we've got Oscar Jensen, Zach York, Timothy Latham, Robert Montgomery, and Benjamin D now, the top 5. Dakota Jorgensen, they're going to make the pass on Mark Kuda there in the 77 as we come down now across the stripe, 266 laps of 300. My shoulders hurt.
Yeah, it's almost done. I believe we're as excited up here as these drivers are. Maybe not as anxious as they are because there's a lot riding in these front few cars. I think just looking down, excluding Oscar being gone out front, you got about 2 seconds to the next 4 cars are in within a 2-second gap there. So it's starting to get a little racy.
All righty, folks. Well, it's stretch it time here tonight since it's a long race. We're going to go ahead and mute here, but we'll keep the volume here tonight on MaxSpeedTV for the cars. We may even turn it up here. Not crank it up, but turn it up here tonight. We're going to do some stretching here as this is a long race, folks. So stay tuned because we're not going anywhere. Well, we got a caution here, not what we wanted to see late into the race. Oh, let's see here what happened. Robert Montgomery? What?
Curious to know if he missed pit road. I saw him dive down from behind.
Well, that's what the MaxSpeedTV replay is for. So let's go back here and take a look at what happened to Robert Montgomery here in the number 52. I don't know if this is where it started, but he does kind of dive it down there. Oh, he gets below the blue line. He locks it down, and he stops on the racetrack. Oh, no. Well, that would definitely
break.
That would definitely bring out a caution. Stopping on the racetrack. It looks like he missed coming down pit road there, so the caution will, of course, come out here again tonight. That's not what these drivers wanted, but that's going to change the game as we come to this time by. They're probably going to make their pit stops here, Brandon. So 30 to go here as they come down, probably down pit road here this evening. Joshua Witherspoon, we got to talk about him. You know, he already made his pit stop. What do? You come down pit road and go ahead and get on the same strategy?
He's going to be the lucky dog here, so he's going to get his lap back.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think that's good
back.
because that's, you know, he doesn't have to elect to take a wave around, which means he can come down and get those fresh tires with the leaders. The unfortunate part is we're showing roughly 10 cars on the lead lap now. He's going to probably be the tail end of those cars, and that's really unfortunate for Josh because he played his strategy early, and you know, as I said before, the grab bag just didn't show the number he drew. And it'll be interesting to see him race back through the field, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, he's going to get the wave around there. Joshua Witherspoon going to be back on the lead lap. Going to be interesting to see where he comes out at Looks like Oscar Jensen going to be the first one off of pit road, so he is going to be our leader here this evening. Zach York going to be right behind him. Timothy Latham in third. Dakota Jorgensen fourth. Benjamin D in fifth. Kind of a funny, not really a funny top five, but you look at what we've got. Oscar Jensen into that 51. Zach York. We got a Flying Arrows, Dakota Jorgensen, and Benjamin D. That's going to be the top five. I'm so used to seeing other drivers in the Flying Arrows. So
yeah, and it's weird, you know, just looking back through the field, and if you're Oscar Jensen, are you sitting really in the catbird seat, so to speak? You know, you got these guys behind you that you know have been fast, but they're used, you know, they're expecting that first spot. You know, we've got Zach York, who's been out front all night. You know, Timothy Latham, typically he runs at the front. Some of those other Benjamin D, those guys run typically good. And now we have Oscar up here that's spoiled the party tonight.
Yep.
And he's kind of stole the show late versus what we saw early.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, we got 20 likes here tonight. Man, thank you guys so much. 22 watching here this evening on YouTube. And like I said, folks, I don't know exactly how many we've got watching in the Facebook here, but I do appreciate everybody out there here this evening. Looks like we've got a lot of likes and a lot of hearts out there as I'm seeing it here, so I appreciate everybody out there and the support for what we do here over at MaxSpeedTV, and myself, Brandon Browning up here in the booth with me tonight. Brandon, you've got to be tired.
I'm excited to see this one end, but man, it's been a fun experience up here with you tonight, Josh. And as I told you before, you always do such an amazing job with this series, and I've seen a couple of other races from the other series you do, man, and just keep up the good work. It's been a pleasure to learn from you tonight.
Well, you know, like I said, these races are not usually this long. I mean, it is a 12:18 Eastern Time a.m., 11:18 p.m. Central Time where I'm at. So this has been quite the race here, the longest race that these guys, you know, are going to be putting on here this season. Yeah, it's not normally, I don't usually broadcast past 11.
Yeah,
So,
it's usually over right in that time zone, and that's the crazy part, you know, with what we have left. We are just outside of 25 laps.
Yep.
And you and I talked earlier that 25, some of these cars are still going to have good in the tires after 25. This is their real shootout if we stay green. And I think it's too tough to even try to call a winner now. I know I said Zach York, but now we're in this spot. I don't know. It could be anyone.
Well, unfortunately, my pick out here tonight, you know, he is currently running 2 laps down. You know, he's looking for 2 quick cautions. That's what he's looking for at Klein.
Yeah.
So, you know, if he can get the 2 quick cautions, get back there on the lead lap, you know, he will be good. I think it's, 4 quick cautions, because you have Jordan Sailors is going to be the first driver 1 lap down, and Christopher Kimberly the next driver a lap down. So 4 quick cautions for Grant
I don't think it's out of reach, though.
I'm looking for them to go green flag here. I'm tired.
You think? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, but I don't know. You know, it's going to be a lot of racing coming right here in just a minute.
Oh, yes, it is. Well, Oscar Jensen and Zach York out of turn number 4 here. Pace car is off. Oscar Jensen going to be in control here. He's going to hold him back, hold him back, hold him back, hold him back. He's going to be on the loud pedal. Green flag is out, but not the jump. Oscar Jensen won it here as Timothy Latham there now to the inside of the 49 of Zach York down into turn number 1.
I believe that 5 car there, he might have been holding back on us when we talked to him in the booth. He's looking real racy here late in this race, even though he said he had the damage. Might see him take a peek to the inside here.
Yeah, he's going to take a peek, but he's not going to be able to do it here as we go double file back here behind him. Dennis Hainsman, the 24, Dakota Jorgensen. Oh, no, here we go, folks. We're wrecking back here Not what you wanted to see. Robert Montgomery also going to be spinning it here. There's no caution out here tonight. Looks like Greg Klein going to get a piece. Oh, they're all down pit road here, folks. All of them are down pit road except for Robert Montgomery. Let's go back here on the MaxSpeedTV replay. Take a look at what happened here. Green flag here still yet tonight, like 275 up 300. But I've got to be on Greg Klein because I don't know if this is where it started or if he was just involved in it. But they all came down pit road. The wreck happened and they came down. So, well, it looks like Greg Klein is okay. We see the 52 there. Oh, right here it is. Oh, yeah, there's where Greg Klein came down. It looks like also that number 8 of Justin Boyle's also going to hit hard in the inside of pit wall there. So, no caution here tonight. Still green flag. Oscar Jensen, 1.6 seconds ahead of Dennis Ansman now, who has battled his way back up to second.
We just had Timothy Latham as well. Looked like he cut down through the grass. Might have got a little loose off a turn 4. Dropped from second back to 5th there late in the race. That's tough.
Yes, it is very tough. You know, cutting grass, as I like to call it, doing a little mowing because Charlotte Motor Speedway people are not doing their jobs. So he just thought the grass was a little bit too high there.
He saw a spot that they missed down there. He wanted to take care of it for him.
Yeah, just take care of it for him. Watch Marcuda here. Marcuda's been having a good run. Started 5th. He's back here in 6th. It's down a spot from where he started, but lap 278 here. Oscar Jensen there going to cross the line for lap 279, excuse me, as it updates. Man, folks, 2 more laps. We're going to be at that 20 to go here tonight. I'm hungry.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to steal a late dinner after this one, and I believe Oscar's trying to check these boys out. He's tired of racing.
Yep.
He's ready to bring this one home.
That 2.3 seconds ahead of Dennis Ansman. Man, what a run for Dennis. What a run for Zach. What a run for Benjamin E. and Ted Poulin. Ted Poulin, man. I love Ted Poulin. You know, I don't get to talk to him much, but, you know,
he's a solid racer. Yeah. He don't ever quit.
Yeah, he don't quit. You know, he can look like a Gen 6 modified out there, and he's still out there running, you know.
Got Zach York going to get loose coming off a turn 2. He's going to lose the 3rd spot. Benjamin D.
Benjamin D going to take that position away.
Also, looking in stats here, the fastest lap of the race was ran by Oscar Jensen at a 28.448. He's trying to put this one away, Josh.
As I go yawning here tonight on MaxSpeedTV. 20 to go here tonight, folks. 20 laps remaining. I think these guys are just wanting to get this race done and over with, Brandon.
Yeah, I definitely think this one's taking a toll on these guys. It's like you said, it's the longest race of the season. They're running more now than they've ran any of the past races, and more than they're going to run in the future. I think we're going to have a lot of guys enjoy their Memorial Day weekend after this long one here.
Oh, man, this has been one heck of a race here tonight, folks. Man, we had the stage cautions. We've had some cautions out here tonight. But 19 laps to go here this evening. I don't know who I have out there still in chat here tonight on YouTube this evening. It looks like we've got Marion Cornell out there saying, go, go, son. Ted Poulin, number 54. So, you know, like I said, I'm a big fan of Ted Poulin. I'm a big fan of everybody out here, but I think Ted's my favorite. So, I don't play favorites, but I love talking to Ted Poulin for sure.
He's always a solid guy. Like I said, I've watched for weeks, and just as I said before, he's one of those quiet guys running his race, and you know, never making too much noise, just hanging on and putting together good finishes.
All right, it looks like got a couple of people still in chat here tonight on YouTube. Cal Gale joining us here tonight on Facebook. Yes, that is the real Cal Gale, by the way, folks, here on my personal Facebook page. Cal, glad to have you out there in tuning in here this evening for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. Winding down the final laps here tonight, folks. 16 to go, and Let's dismiss that. I'm not sure exactly what that was, but we will dismiss that.
To put together a solid finish here, guys, for Kale Gale watching with us.
Oh, yeah, Kale Gale out there. Yes, that is the real Kale Gale, Truck Series driver. Well, former Truck Series driver for real NASCAR out there tuning in here this evening. I've had the honor many times of talking with Kale Gale. Not to take what's going on with the track out here tonight, but, Kale Gale, if you know Kyle Busch, you know Kale Gale. That's all I'm going to say here tonight, folks.
That's my favorite actual series driver is Kyle Busch. That's when you said Kale Gale, the memory started ticking along a little bit.
Well,
no offense to you, Kale.
We can't be friends. Sorry, Brandon.
Hey, I understand. I've lost a lot of people that way. We got a real tight battle here for second, though.
Yes, we do. And it's a real tight battle. Hard into the wall. No! That's going to be Mark Kuda there. No, caution is going to fly. 14 to go. No.
Interesting. This is where we're going to come down to seeing who has those tires left.
See here if we can take a look at what happened to Mark Kuda here. Justin Boyle's doing it back here tonight in a chat this evening on Facebook. Justin, glad to have you back out there. Looks like you are not going to be out there on the track, but we see the contact there between Mark Kuda and that number 5 there of Timothy Latham. Timothy going to hit the wall, but Mark going to go hard into that inside wall. Hard lick for Mark Kuda. 13 to go here tonight, and the cautions do fly here. We hate to say it, but cautions can breed cautions.
Yeah, and I think the one driver in the field that did not want to see that is at 51 of Oscar Jensen. He was trying to put that one away. And actually, if I'm not mistaken here, do we have Oscar stay out with the cars behind him pitting?
Well, let's take a look here. Yes, we did.
This is going to make it interesting.
We have another driver that did not come down pit road. That's going to be my old buddy Bob Carroll as well. So, the top 2 did not pit. Brandon.
That's going to be tough.
Interesting.
I wonder how much good's left in those 51 tires. How many laps do we have on tires for
I'm looking at Oscar and Bob here. Oscar at about 20 laps, Bob about 19. So it had about a lap difference between the two. So
that's tough.
Really not much.
No, that's tough between them, and of course, starting with Benjamin D, Zach York, and those guys, Dennis Ansman. They're going to have 20-lap fresher tires, and that's tough for Oscar because he put together such a great run late in this race, and he was kind of checking out on them, but interesting to see what he has left in those tires.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oscar and Bob Carroll. Man, I'd love to see old Bob come out and win it here tonight, kind of steal the thunder here, lock himself into that chase, man.
Chatted with Bob a little bit before the race. I wouldn't mind seeing Bob steal it.
I would love. I'm not interviewing anybody here, but it looks like we've got a couple of people coming out pit road. That's lap drivers here, so they are going to be coming out pit road here this time. That's going to put Bob Carroll in second, Dennis Ainsman third, Zach York fourth, and Benjamin D now in fifth. But like we were talking about, the top 2 did not pit. So tires, 12 to go, make it 11 that time by. I think Oscar and Bob is going to have the biggest targets on their back. Now, if you was one of the two, if you was the leader, let's say you was Oscar Jensen here, what line would you want to be? Where would you choose, the inside or the outside?
Just looking behind him, he's going to have Zach York on the bottom, Dennis Ansman on the outside, and they're both quick drivers. I believe I'm going to take the bottom because Zach York's ready to go. He's led a lot of this race, and I think you can get the push that maybe you need. Realistically, if I'm Oscar Jensen, I'm hoping these guys behind me with these new tires get racy, maybe get into each other, and let me get just enough away that I can make something happen.
All right, well, out of pit road, it's going to be Dennis Ansman, going to be the first driver off of pit road, so he is going to be in third here. Zach York fourth and Benjamin D fifth. Joshua Witherspoon sixth, Ted Poulin seventh, Dakota Jorgensen eighth, Robert Montgomery in ninth. That's going to put Timothy Latham back. Well, he's on pit road here, but he's currently 10th. So Jordan Sailors, if he can get around, that's going to put Jordan in that 10th spot here this evening. But this time by 11 to go, or 10 to go this time by. Looks like maybe 9 to go when they get that green flag here.
Interesting. Oscar's taking the outside. We might see some 3 wide medlock here on this restart.
We've already seen 3 wide medlock here tonight. I'm not in the mood for 3 wide medlock, but I'll do it.
I believe that's what we're going to have. If you're careful.
If we see 4 wide, I'm retiring. I'm done.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past these guys. We don't have the room for 5 wide, but I believe that 11 car is coming too, and we'll see how patient. You as a 3rd or 4th place, 5th place driver, your tires are 20 laps newer than the 2 guys ahead of you.
Yep.
You want to be patient with them and not get into them, but if you're too patient, it opens the door, especially for Zach York and Dennis Ansman, for the guys behind them that are also on fresh tires. So you kind of have to amp it up and be ready to go here.
I think it's go time right now. It's go time.
Yeah.
You've got to go. You cannot back down. Brandon, get him going here. Coming to 9 to go, bud.
Alrighty, this is going to be the most interesting restart of the race. No tires, 4 tires. Fast guys all around. Oscar's been fast all night. Bob's ran a solid race. We see these 3 guys behind them, Zach York, Dennis Ansman, and Josh Witherspoon. They've been solid the whole night too. We're going to have, hopefully for the last time, the pace car taking the left-hand turn. It's up to Oscar. Zach's ready behind Oscar, and Bob is ready to go. We're green flag racing. Great jump for the 51 car of Oscar Jensen. Unfortunately for those cars on the inside, Bob Carroll stacked them up just a hair. Now here is your race to the finish. Are they going to be enough?
As we take a look at it here, it looks like a little bit of over encoding there on. Oh, we got the 16 into the wall. No, the 16 is going to be Dennis Ansman. No, 9 laps to go. Coming to 8. Dennis looking like a Gen 6 modified out there. No caution here tonight, folks. 8 laps remaining here this season.
This is exactly what the 51 wants to see here. He wants to see more racing between the 49 and the 11. The 11, he's got his sights set on the 51, Josh.
Yes, he does. Joshua Witherspoon back up here now in 2nd place. Looking to the outside out of turn number 4. Here we go. Across the stripe. Joshua Witherspoon going to lead that lap side by side with Oscar Jensen here tonight, folks. But this is what Zach York wants to see back here all by his lonesome. The more these guys race it up, the quicker he can get back up to them. But Joshua going to make the pass there on the outside out of 2. Now down into 3.
I think this corner right here is important, and the front stretch, he's going to give a little bit of a bumper. Oh, and he's going to kick him sideways. Oscar Jensen going to get a little loose. He's going around in front of the field.
Oh, no, the 54, Ted Poulin. Nowhere to go. Going to take a lick there with that 51. Let's go back here on the MaxSpeedTV replay and take a look at what happened here, folks.
Maybe a little bit of frustration finally set in with Zach trying to be patient and just running out of time.
Take a look here at Oscar Jensen, back here into 2nd. Zach York there in 3rd. Down into 3. Little bit of bumper. Oh, just the slightest tap there from that 49 into the 51. Going to send that 51 sideways. He does try to save it, but, this track is, coming out of the corners is tough. And right back up into the racing surface and in front of traffic, that 54 of Ted Poulin going to hit that rear end of the 51. Ted in the 54 going to take a lick of damage as well here tonight, folks. So, we're still not done racing here tonight. We still got a lot more action, but side by side here tonight on Max Speed TV. Alrighty, folks, we're back live here on MaxSpeedTV. Now, this is going to be a green, white, checkered attempt, but it's not going to be one of the 3 green, white, checkered attempts. This is going to be under regulation here, so we still have the 3 green, white, checkered attempts that they have here for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. I hope it doesn't come down to a green, white, checkered attempt, but Brandon, we've already seen what could happen out here on the track.
Yeah, everyone's, they've set in, I'm showing race time at just under 3.5 hours. So these guys have been ticking away at it the entire night. We're down a couple more times across the start-finish line, and this one's over. One driver I do want to jump back and I guess give a little bit of a shout out to. We've talked about him a few times tonight, Josh, but it's never been on a good note. Is the 55 car of Jordan Sailors. Has got that car at the 7th.
Yes, he does. Jordan Sailors back out there on the lead lap here tonight. Man, when we cross the line, right now 3 to go. It's going to be 2 to go when they cross the line. Green, white, checkered attempt here under regulation. Oh, man, I don't know. This is going to get wild up front. Joshua Witherspoon, Zach York, Benjamin D, Dennis Ansman, Dakota Jorgensen, the top 5.
Outside of that top 5, you got that 51 car again.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of damage to the back end, but he's starting on not many, a few lap fresher tires than the rest.
A few laps. Yeah, he's out here at about 2 laps here. Everybody else 9 to 3 laps up ahead of him, but out of turn number 4, folks. Here we go. That pace car will make its dive off to the safety of pit road. Joshua Witherspoon onto the inside of the 49 of Zach York. Waiting, and Joshua on the loud pedal. Good job by Joshua. Green flag is out. All he's got to do is make it around to the white flag, and that will do it here. But it is a Charlotte Motor Speedway. It looks like single file throughout the field. They just jumped it there. They did not waste any time. Joshua
Couple of
Witherspoon
teammates
now into turn 3. Yeah, Zach York, Benjamin D right behind each other. Second and third, but Joshua
Zach's trying
Witherspoon.
what he can.
Now, crossing the line, 1 to go here tonight, folks. The final lap here this evening for the Struggle Beyond the Decade 300 for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. Joshua Witherspoon trying to hold on Zach York and Benjamin D. Can he do it into turn 3 and 4? There's enough gap there, I believe. It is going to be in the books. Joshua Witherspoon going to win this second race of the season for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series here at Charlotte.
Big win there by the 11 car, and I guarantee you, just from his standpoint, he did not breathe for those final 2 laps, Josh.
Oh, yeah, he was just trying to hold back Zach York and Oscar Jensen there. Looks like Oscar Jensen going to finish in third here that I see it. So Oscar trying to make his move.
If I had to guess, Oscar went down there, he taped that front end off and got all of the speed out of that car he could on that last one.
Yes, he did. Well, a hard-fought race by all of these drivers out here tonight. A little bit of love tapping going on there. Congratulations. We are going to step away here, folks. We're not going to go side by side. We're just going to mute here. We're going to get the top 3 up here for the MaxSpeedTV post-race show. It's been a long night, so stay tuned. Alrighty, folks, we're back live here on MaxSpeedTV. I've caught up with the top 3 here. We're going to start here with our third place finisher, Oscar Jensen, man. Long race here tonight. Cautions, stage cautions, everything in between. Hard-fought racing, man. Talk about the race out here tonight. The longest race you guys are going to have of the season, man. We want to hear it from you.
Yeah, it was a pretty long race. Was a workout. Disappointing finish for us. I think we had the car to beat there towards the end. Unfortunately, we had 2 incidents towards the end, one with the teammate and one with a different team member. So that was kind of sucky. But, happy with the third place finish, and we'll go on to next week and see if we can do something like that again, except we get the win.
Well, Oscar, you're already locked into the chase, man, as long as you show up. So that's got to be good news for you. But I don't know where we're at on the next track. I don't have my paper in front of me, unfortunately. But what's the mindset? Long race tonight. Next week not going to be as long.
Yeah, definitely tonight was just a key of patience, and had an issue with Joshua early on, and we got that dealt with and fixed and moved on from that, I'm sure. But overall it was just patience, and I didn't start working my way to the front to at least third of a way in. And, next week, probably do something similar, except, be able to do it a lot sooner than tonight.
Alrighty, Oscar. Well, man, congratulations. Third here tonight. We're not going to keep you any longer, man. Any final thoughts, shout outs you want to give before you go celebrate, bud?
Yeah, shout out to Robert Montgomery. Brought in a new team, new sponsor for me, and have the speed. And we're here. I think we did. I think we showed them that we're here to win races. Unfortunately, we didn't get it done tonight, but we'll be back next weekend, weeks to follow.
Yeah, it was a long day for the number 49 Flying Arrows MCM4 Mustang. Got caught up in a wreck in between third and the last stage. Just damaged the car a little bit too much to where it was just down on power on the straights and couldn't keep up with Josh. But dominated the first stage. Second stage, it was a little strategy gameplay there, but still had a solid finish there. The third stage, it was another big strategy play. Sadly, it didn't go our way. It didn't go green. Ended up, I think, still third in the third stage. Kept going, adjusted the car, tried to make it a little bit better, even with the damaged power on the engine. And got caught up there with Oscar with 10 or so to go, and just kind of drove into him. That was personally my fault for that incident. I want to apologize to him. That was completely my fault. But then on the restart, the last restart, just couldn't keep up with Josh. Got a good restart. Seems like I'm always second to him when he gets the good restart for the win. Congrats, bud.
Alrighty, Zach. Well, we're not going to keep you any longer here tonight, bud. It's been a long race. Any final thoughts, shout outs you want to give? And are you ready for next week here this evening?
Yeah, wherever we're racing, I'm always ready.
I don't have that stat in front of me.
Yeah,
It should be Kansas next week, fellas.
Kansas,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, shout out to Grayson. Put a great set on the car. It was very, very fast. Just wish I could keep it up there and put in the number one spot. But yeah, congratulations to Josh. Shout out to Grayson, Mike Carey, everyone back at the shop, the Flying Arrow shop. Thanks. Fast car.
Alrighty, Zach. We're not going to keep you, man. Go celebrate second here tonight, buddy. We're going to go ahead and move on. You got anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on here to our winner here tonight. It's going to be Joshua Witherspoon here this evening. Joshua Witherspoon, buddy, man, I don't know how you did it. I know that Brandon down here, he was watching you closely. You making your moves throughout the field there, and strategy played off definitely for you coming home into victory lane here this evening, buddy. Talk about it.
There's a. I can talk all night about that race. It was a lot of strategy with the new tire rule implemented there. So the whole first stage, I just used the whole whatever tires I had the entire tire run, and I mean it. I was lucky I didn't go a lap down there. Them new tires are so good. Second stage there, I took them tires with like 10, 15 to go, and I mean it was white knuckle trying to drive through everybody there, but I was like, hey, I'm going. So I saved all my tires there for them last couple, 150 so odd laps there, and yeah, I had that little incident there with the Oscar there in 3 and 4, and I thought my life was flashing before my eyes there, and luckily I didn't get hit by nobody, and I just dusted off, came back, and I knew I saved tires because I knew my set's a long run set, and them short runs it didn't do too good, but fresh tires is always a lot better.
Well, it is open setup, so kind of go into don't take forever, but kind of go into more in depth of seeing it 300 laps here tonight, 3 stages, and then a shootout to the finish. And then the tires. You really had to really adjust, I'm sure, throughout the race.
Oh yeah, I mean those people I've heard talks to people put drastic changes. I believe Justin there, He didn't say exactly what he done, but he made a huge change and he was all over the track. I think he did his a little too early. But yeah, I mean, during the daytime, the track's a little hotter, a lot slicker. You got to make sure you're not, if you ever drive it, you're in the wall. In the nighttime, you got a lot of grip, and that baby just wants to fly. But you gotta hold your horses a little bit because that right front still want to burn up.
All right, well, Joshua, we're not going to keep you, Brandon. I know you might have a couple of questions here for Joshua. We're going to go ahead and turn the mic over to you real quick before we end it here tonight.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, it was impressive watching you drive through the field, Josh. And I told Josh Medlock, with 40 to go or so, when you pitted under green, I told him, I said, man, that's either going to be really good or really bad. And then the caution come out, and it worried me a little bit, man. But you never gave up. What was it like seeing that caution with so little laps to go, knowing you just pitted under green?
Oh man, I hated it. I was like, so I pitted. I knew I was gonna. It was good. The whole field run was gonna be good. So if we went green the rest of the way, I was going to go ahead and roll with it, especially with a long run set. I didn't have to worry about the car being trash at the end. And then everybody else is on running about a second slower per lap. And I thought I was going to have it straight in the bag by 10 seconds at least if the caution didn't come out. Then once it came out, I just prayed for the best at that point.
You never gave up, and that's all that really matters, man. That's all I had for you. Just want to say congratulations, buddy. You drove the wheels off of it.
Oh, I greatly appreciate it. It was nice hearing y'all tonight. And, thanks to everybody else that's congratulated me. I mean, these races aren't easy. There's a reason why we've had a bunch of different winners so far this season. And you got to bring it every night. Every night you got to bring it. And it's a lot of fun, especially when you win.
Yes, it is, Joshua. Well, man, Kansas next week. Not as long of a race as it is tonight, but, talk about that race. And then, of course, any final thoughts, shout out you want to give before you go celebrate, bud?
Well, yeah, Kansas, if it's anything like it's been it's going to be a mile and a half Daytona Talladega, because there you can stay more packed together than you can anywhere else for some odd reason. So that's going to be a lot of white knuckle. But as far as shout outs, Gen X, great appreciation. And we got a brand new sponsor this week from Trust Me Vodka. I guess it's pretty fitting tonight that I have a vodka sponsor. So party's just starting. I know everybody's tired and ready to go to bed, but over here at the Witherspoon household, it's just getting started.
All righty, Witherspoon, man. Well, glad to see you out here racing again. Back into victory lane here once again for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. You've already locked yourself in, but this just kind of takes away from the win of another driver and, makes it battle for the points even more the better, Joshua. So, man, go celebrate the victory, man. We'll see you at Kansas next week.
Yeah, thank y'all, and appreciate you showing up and sticking through it with the YouTube issues earlier. And I love all you guys, even though sometimes I get aggravated and pissy, but that's racing. And hey, see you next week.
Yeah, all righty, buddy. Well, let's get to it, man. All right, Brandon. Well, let's go ahead and go down through the unofficial results here real quick, pending any admin stuff. You want me to just run through these real quick?
Send us home, Josh.
All righty. Well, Joshua Witherspoon going to grab it home here into victory lane here tonight, man. Congratulations for Joshua on another win here for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. Zach York going to finish in second. Oscar Jensen third. Dennis Ansman in fourth. Timothy Latham in fifth. Jordan Saylor is going to grab a top six after coming back from a lap down, man. Awesome run by Jordan. Dakota Jorgensen, 7th. Benjamin D in 8th. Bob Carroll, 9th. Travis Dalley going to grab a top 10. Christopher Kimmery in 11th. Robert Montgomery in 12th. Ted Poulin in 13th. Tim Hendry, 14th. Mark Kuda, 15th. Richard Springer in 16th. Jason Tripp, 17th. Greg Klein in 18th. Justin Boyles, 19th. Josh Buckman in 20th. Jeremy Boucher going to finish 21st. Jagwin Ingsman, 22nd. Dennis Nickel, 23rd. Mark Wilson, 24th. Derek Schimel, 25th. Philip Lloyd, 26th. Alex Carl Link, 27th. Jordan Brockell will finish in 28th, as well as Kendall LeBron in 29th. But Congratulations goes to our winner here tonight, Joshua Witherspoon. Again, Brandon, glad to have you up here in the booth with us tonight on MaxSpeedTV for the iRacing Virtual Cup Series long race.
Yeah, really long race, man, and I had a blast. I know, we sat right under 4 hours, and every minute of it was a blast, even though we got more and more tired as it went.
Oh, yeah, and, this is part of broadcasting, folks. Every league has its long races, but that's going to do it here tonight for MaxSpeedTV and the iRacing Virtual Cup Series. But tomorrow night, we will have, right here on MaxSpeedTV with myself, Joshua Medlock, in the booth, an Indianapolis 500. That's going to be with the league Loose Lug Nuts tomorrow night right here as well. So, guys, stay tuned for that. Yet another long race that I will have to anticipate here. But thank you all so much from YouTube and Facebook for tuning in here tonight. Until tomorrow night, folks, stay safe and have a good night.